Who was running the ship? Come on.
You know, a ship that had holes in
money.
it. That had holes in it, right? That was sinking.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah, but you know, let's deal with O'Brien's.
And I never watched it.
O'Brien's comments with regard to late night is dead. What are your thoughts? Because I'm in a bed because I got to do first edition in the morning.
Yeah, my late night to be here is like 8:30. I don't watch those shows because they are so liberal. And that is why they're tanking. They're gone. A lot of them have been fired. So he could be onto something. You could be next. If your ratings aren't up and you don't have the viewership, even social media profiles and comments, where's that? I'm old school. I like the old, like Johnny Carson's, and I like that kind of stuff. Back in the day, those shows were funny, I think.
Well, you know, before first edition, I used to stay up late, but that wasn't an option for me in terms of late night talk show because, to your point, it's a lot of liberal rhetoric. But I do think, contrary to O'Brien's statement stating that late night talk shows are dead, I think that's an opportunity for Chris Ruddy to actually move into potentially late night talk shows, because that's a huge void. People still want it, but they want fair and balanced. And it'll be a real late night talk show for real people. Ooh, you see what I did there?
The John Burnett Show.
Well, that does it for us this Tuesday morning, folks.
We'll be right back early tomorrow. Have a great day.
Will continue in just a minute. Right now, enjoy this American moment.
It was erected in the dead of night, and for 28 years separated East Germany from West Germany. The Berlin Wall quickly came to symbolize the stark difference between the free West and the communist East. In June of 1987, President Reagan visited the wall at the famous Brandenburg Gate and used the occasion to issue 2 public...
Go behind closed doors to witness biblical counseling with real people. Transformed, Monday and Thursday on the Dove TV, encouraging and informative.
Well, good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to Sesame Street. Okay, Mr. Rogers' neighborhood. Okay, let's make a deal. Anyway, good morning to you. Happy Tuesday.
Yeah.
Wow. Quite the historic day yesterday in Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
And you can't start the program without recognizing that it was historic. Mm-hmm. You had all these European leaders coming to Washington, and there's the outtake from this is just amazing. Mm-hmm. I've been reading most of the outlets throughout the morning, and they are really something. How everybody says it should be this, it should have been that, or it's this, it means that, it means this, it means that.
Yeah. And it's amazing on the take that you would get by reading the different news sources.
Oh, gosh, it's just amazing.
It is. And one of the things that strikes me, especially in this situation, Perry, is that how many people in the news business root so hard against Trump that they don't care what the subject matter is. They just want him to fail.
Yeah, it's so obvious now that it's
oh, man.
It's almost laughable.
Yeah.
But the American people can see it for what it is, and they're watching this.
Yeah.
I asked them to get a shot. Maybe they haven't got it yet, but I want to, somewhere in the next few minutes, I'll show you a picture from the Oval Office.
Okay.
It's literally historic. And when we get it, I'll show it to you. But anyway, we'll talk about that. The weather is starting to warm up. You notice all those clouds went away yesterday. Mm-hmm. And here comes the heat.
Yeah, it's going to come too.
It's going to go up.
Oh, yeah.
And then it's going to go down. So get ready for that.
Yeah.
So anyway, good morning to you. A lot in the news. We'll get to you with that in just a moment. What's up?
You got your tickets ready? It's National Aviation Day.
Oh.
It obviously recognizing the pioneers of human flight. And you know, it's amazing when you look at human flight and that element. Are you pulling out a license?
Yes.
All right. See, and you're the kind of guys that I'm talking about. Guys, especially you look at people like the Wright brothers and those in the real pioneers, and their willingness to get on these things, these that are intended to, you know, fly through the air. Nobody ever gave them any license. Nobody gave them an FAA clearance. They just climbed on. And what's on the back of that card? Is that over on Wilbur?
Okay. So
Huh?
what's it say there?
What does it say there? It says date of issue.
No, right here.
Commercial pilot, certified number.
Okay.
Should I give your number?
And aircraft.
Commercial pilot, airplane single and multi-engine land. What's land mean?
Land.
Okay. Instrument, airplane. Oh, limitations. What? 8 limitations?
My vision.
Oh, your vision. So what does that mean practically when you?
Well, it doesn't mean that I can fly in. Well, it's limited on weight. There's quite a few limitations. What I'm checked out, but I'm a single-engine, multi-engine pilot, instrument-rated, commercial.
Oh, okay.
So the only thing that's restricting me now is type ratings.
Type of aircraft. Okay. Yeah.
So that cost me a lot of money.
I bet it did. Yeah. Yeah.
You know.
But with that in mind, would you ever have even contemplated climbing aboard the Wright Flyer?
Well, you know, I have a model of it in my office at home.
Oh, all right.
And I looked at that flimsy thing. Then I thought, well, you really have to know something.
Yeah.
You had to believe in your science and your research.
I would think so.
But if you look at it, it was made properly. It had the right wing. It had the right rudders.
Okay.
It had everything going for it.
And it flew.
And it flew.
And it flew.
Yeah.
So our hats off to the pioneers.
Yeah.
You know, something we kind of take for granted these days,
Well,
isn't
see,
it?
that's what the picture is on my license. There it is.
Oh, yeah. That's cool.
So there's
and
the
I'm
right.
sure
Yeah.
you've seen it at the Smithsonian, I'm sure.
Yes.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, and it's just an amazing thing. It really is.
Did you wear your MAGA cap and get kicked out?
No, that was before mega caps.
They don't know. They kind of got themselves out of trouble. They kind of were politically correct there for a little while.
Well, and they were throwing kids out.
Kids out with the wrong caps on.
And had pro-life caps on.
That was the big incident. Yeah, it was the pro-life caps.
Yeah, well, anyway.
Okay, well.
Anyway, that's. Now, ask me if I'm current.
No.
I'm waiting to take what they call my BFR.
And that is?
My biannual flight review.
Oh.
And I have to take that with an instructor.
Oh.
And you go up every other year, and you do landings and takeoffs. You do turns around at points. You do stalls.
Do they surprise you when you're in the middle of all this stuff? Do they tell you to do something that you might not be
A good
ready for?
instructor makes you sweat.
Wait! I thought that was what that front propeller was for.
No, if it stops, you sweat. But
That was to keep you cooled off.
But a good instructor puts you through the grind.
Okay. Yeah. Well, when you're in flight, have something to eat. And today is National Potato Day.
Oh.
Yeah, whether baked, fried, mashed, these taters bring on the flavor. And of course, they can be a little high in carbs. With 26 grams of carbohydrates, potatoes are a no-no in a low-carb lifestyle.
Yeah.
But boy, I sure do like them.
Yeah, I like mashed potatoes. But I guess I have to say, if I had to pick a potato, the way it's prepared,
right?
A good old baked potato.
Oh, there's nothing wrong. Do you eat the skins?
Yep.
Yeah, me too. All right. And I'm the son of a potato farmer.
Oh, well, there you go.
I have eaten potatoes any possible way that it can be prepared. Mom.
Yeah. Jerry Spud's Builder.
Yes. I remember being like in the 6th grade, and my mom, it was like December, and my mom says, Jerry, we're out of spuds. I need spuds for dinner tonight. Get on the snowmobile, drive down to the warehouse, where that year's crop was still partially sitting because they sell the spuds, through the end of the year, and get me some potatoes. So I remember driving down, the things that we lived through.
The potatoes came from the ground.
Yeah. Oh, I knew where potatoes came from. Oh,
they didn't come from Safeway.
No. I didn't even know what Safeway was. So anyway, enjoy your potatoes today, and then have some soft ice cream. And I think we celebrated a little early yesterday. I saw some pictures of soft ice cream. Remember? We were talking. Yeah.
Now Ed Miller was the soft ice cream king.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he had Ed's Tire Factory here.
Mm-hmm.
And he had a map between Medford and Portland of all the places north and southbound where you could get off and get soft ice cream. Rice Hill being the biggest place.
Oh, wow. Well, it's interesting because soft ice cream was accidentally invented by Tom Carvel in New York. He had a flat tire, and he was pulling his ice cream truck. He pulled into a parking lot, and he knew the product was melting, and as vacationers drove by, he sold the softened ice cream to them, and they loved the soft ice cream. So the potential for a new dessert wasn't lost on him, and he, a salesman. And so a couple years later, he opened his first ice cream store on the very site where his truck broke down. In the preceding years, he patented a super low temperature ice cream machine and created a secret formula for ice cream. So how different are soft and hard ice creams? Well, they're made with the same ingredients, but soft ice cream has less milk fat. It also has more air than hard ice cream, and both of these factors contribute to the ice cream being more delicate and smoother, and the milk fats in the hard ice cream cause it to be firmer when frozen, so that's the big difference. Now, I got to say, when we lived in New York, Tom Carvel was still doing ads on TV for Carvel ice cream. I've never seen Carvel ice cream anywhere except New York. I had no idea. He was the man.
Well, there you go.
He invented it
well,
accidentally.
I have to say one thing about soft ice cream. Now, someday if I ever have the Dove Dog mobile cart.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to sell Dove dogs.
Okay.
I want to sell the Dove coffee.
Okay. Yeah. Is there a special blend you would give?
Well, we have to come up with the Dove pastry. So you could get coffee and a pastry there in the morning. Okay. You can come back at noon and get the Dove dog.
Okay.
But I'd like to have soft ice cream, not hard, soft. Mm-hmm. And the reason I want to have soft ice cream.
Okay.
Have you bought soft ice cream at a drive-thru lately?
I have not.
Why in the world is it so expensive?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So I'm going to sell it at least half that price.
Yeah.
Even if it's a lost
there
leader.
You go. Yeah, I need to find out what Phil's Frosty is charging now up in Shady Cove. This is the best soft serve ice cream you can get anywhere around here.
Well, some of these drive-thrus.
But I think they're expensive.
You get this. I'm going, what?
Yeah.
What? No.
Yeah, have you noticed that some soft serve ice cream isn't really ice cream anymore?
Yeah, that's the other thing, too. By the way, I would make sure the quality is there.
Right. It's got to be ice cream. All right.
Sorry about that.
Okay. Well, we live in a land of freedom, and part of that freedom comes in the form of protest. And there are a few other places, too. And we've seen some interesting protests, but here's one of the most creative. In 2016, to protest censorship, filmmaker Charlie Lynn submitted a 10-hour movie of drying white paint to the British Board of Film Classification. The board had to watch paint drying, the name of the film, in its entirety, all 10 hours and 7 minutes of it, in order to give it an age rating classification. And Alice found it on YouTube. You can watch the whole 10-hour movie
of paint
drying on YouTube.
Really?
Somebody should send it to the Democrats. It's a protest of censorship.
Wow.
I love it. I've never heard of anything quite like this.
Sometimes it's better watching that than listening to them talk. More entertaining.
Bingo. I love it.
Well, let's check in with Spuds and find out what the weather's all about.
A look at our weather from Grange Co-op. With building high pressure, we'll see temperatures starting to move back up. So today in northern Oregon and southern Washington, mostly sunny with highs in the low 80s for Vancouver and Portland and mid 80s in Wilsonville and McMinnville. Moving down the Willamette Valley, mostly sunny with a high near 83 in Salem, patchy fog, then sunny and near 83 in Albany, sunny skies with highs also near 83 for Corvallis and Eugene. Sunny skies across the central Oregon high desert with daytime high temperatures near 88 in Prineville and mid-80s for Bend and Sun River. Sunny and hot again today in Boise, Idaho with a high near 98. Along the Oregon coast, sunny with a high in the mid-70s in Coos Bay, sunny in upper 60s in Port Orford, patchy fog, then mostly sunny in mid-50s in Brookings, and partly sunny near 63 in Crescent City. In southern Oregon, sunny skies for the Rogue Valley and Klamath Basin with daytime high temperatures in the low 90s for Grants Pass and Medford and mid-80s for Ashland and Klamath Falls with lows in the low to mid-50s. Into northern California, sunny with a high in the upper 80s for Wairika, sunny in low to mid-90s for Redding and Chico, and near 90 in Sacramento with a light southwest wind this afternoon. In the Bay Area, patchy fog, then sunny in low 80s in Santa Rosa, becoming sunny with a high in the upper 70s in Napa, sunny in San Francisco with a high in the upper 60s, and today in San Jose, sunny in low 80s. A snapshot of your Tuesday weather from Grange Co-op.
All right, a beautiful shot that we like to see, and as we're looking to the northeast, and that's Mount McLaughlin way out there. The sunrise is a few minutes away as the days are getting shorter. So we're going to have hot days and cool nights. And have you noticed? The heat? I can't believe it.
Right.
But it is the middle of August.
Yeah.
The trees are starting to turn.
Yes, they are. And you're right. There's a lot of acorns in production right now.
That is a little bit of a sign.
You know, we talk about this almost every year.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a sign of a good winter coming.
I hope so.
And when you have that much acorn, it's kind of like God saying, all right, I'm going to fill up the oak trees with a lot of acorns so the deer get nice and fat and get ready for a harsh winter.
It could be. And, you know, we had a good winter last year. So, boy, if we had another one on the heels of that, that would be wonderful.
Well, we're in, you know, it's cyclical.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is.
Climate change people can't handle that, but it's cyclical.
I know. Things are supposed to be the very same every year, right? For climate change people?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, right.
Okay, well, there's some...
Let me know how that's working for you.
Inconvenient facts around that. But anyway, so here's a point that I have heard that a wise man has repeated more than once. What God brings you through, He makes you a minister too. Yeah. And here Pastor Jack Graham illustrates that point.
And God teaches us things through discipline. That's what He was showing here, these Hebrew Christians. Remember, they're suffering, they're in pain, they're hurting, they're being mocked. And God says, all this is my discipline for you, my loving, caring disciplining of your life so that you may grow and keep going. God used a thorn in the flesh for the Apostle Paul. Remember that? Paul, the great apostle, he said, but lest I be exalted beyond which I ought to be exalted, he said, God put a stake in my flesh. God put a thorn in my flesh. And it hurt. He prayed that God would remove it again, 3 times. But each time God says, my grace is sufficient. God was teaching him His grace. God was teaching him to persevere. God was teaching him humility. God was teaching him through pain how to love others and be sympathetic and comforting. The Bible says the God of all comfort, with the comfort that we are comforted, enables us to comfort others. So God uses a test, a thorn, a tear to train us. And the ultimate goal for our good is to make us like Jesus.
Okay, let me ask you this. When you go through something and you come out the other side and you've survived it, it gives you a heart for it, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
It could be that that's the heart that God's creating in you to reach back to help others come through what you've come through. And God doesn't waste anything, nothing. There's no throwaway in His plan. Everything's redeemed, and it's redeemed for a purpose. And so if He's redeemed you through a mess, there's a high probability He wants to use you to go back into that mess and help other people through it.
Yeah.
So think about that. All right, good morning to you. Let's take a look at some of the top stories. And yesterday was an amazing day at the White House. And all kinds of things going on. Whoops, what happened there? There we are. Hi. Okay. By the way.
Right.
I was watching some big networks yesterday.
Yeah.
I won't name them.
Okay.
Boy, you know, it feels so good when networks screw up.
The great equalizer.
Well, they're right in the middle. They got Skype coming. They got all the $1 million stuff, you know. And boom, it goes black. I go, yeah. Forgive me. It's just kind of an inside industry thing.
Yeah, that's good.
All right, let's try this again. All right. Yesterday was a big day at the White House, and the president entertained a lot of people, and he entertained not only President Zelensky from Ukraine, but 7 other European leaders came to the White House with him. They powwowed most of the day. Now, what was so interesting about this, he's having this big powwow in this room, and the people all around, and he excuses himself and goes and calls Putin.
Oh, no kidding. Oh, I didn't see that.
See, he leaves the room, leaves everybody in there, and he goes over and he calls President Putin. It's like 1:30 in the morning Russian time.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, wakes him up. Hey,
Vladimir?
Vladimir. Yak.
Because he loves first names.
Yeah, well, anyway.
Oh, my gosh.
So they talk about a few things, and he comes back in. So anyway, he thinks now a trilateral meeting is certainly on the table.
All right.
And here's a little bit what the president had to say yesterday, meeting with Zelensky and the media.
Well, we're going to work with Ukraine. We're going to work with everybody, and we're going to make sure that if there's peace, the peace is going to stay long term. This is very long term. We're not talking about a 2-year peace and then we end up in this mess again. We're going to make sure that everything's good. We'll work with Russia. We're going to work with Ukraine. And we're going to make sure it works. And I think if we can get to peace, it's going to work. I have no doubt about it. The war is going to end. When it ends, I can't tell you. But the war is going to end. And this gentleman wants it to end. And Vladimir Putin wants it to end. I think the whole world is tired of it, and we're going to get it ended. It was, I've done 6 wars. I've ended 6 wars, and I thought this maybe would be the easiest one, and it's not the easiest one. It's a tough one. A lot of reasons for it, and they'll be talking about it for a long time. But they'll be talking about the others. Look, India, Pakistan. We're talking about the big places. When you look at you just take a look at some of these wars. You go to Africa and take a look at that. Rwanda and the Congo, Republic of the Congo. That's been going on for 31 years. And so we've done a total of 6, and we really have 6, not including the fact that we obliterated, and it turned out to be a total obliteration, the nuclear, as you said, the future nuclear capability of Iran. And this one, I think we're going to get solved also. I feel confident we're going to get it solved.
Okay, we'll see. They met. I was trying to figure out, did President Zelensky bring everybody with them as support, or did they want to come to make sure that Zelensky wouldn't miscommunicate something?
They came at the behest of the president.
Okay.
Yes.
So something's really interesting about this. I want to show you a picture here just for a moment. This is an historic picture. Do you have it? This is the president sitting at his desk with all 7 world leaders sitting in front of him. Have you ever seen that?
And I got to say, it's been interesting on who is touting the success of the president in this. There are many who have pointed out that only Trump could have done this. We saw no movement like this from the Biden administration. No. Only Trump could. And did you see the head of NATO yesterday said that Trump was right, that NATO, the members of NATO, were not paying their fair share, and had it not been for Trump, they wouldn't have made the adjustments. But they did.
They did. But this shot here is absolutely stunning.
That is.
And I think it sends a statement to President Putin. Look, it's not just you and Zelensky. It's all of Europe.
Right.
And so this is, we've never seen anything like this
If you were
before.
going to title this picture, what would you title it?
Wow, right now.
I would say, who's the boss?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a stunning picture. And by the way, somewhere in all of this yesterday, the interviews are just amazing that came out of that. Mm-hmm. The president called into Fox News on the phone this morning, and I was listening to it. It's amazing. I don't know when the guy said
Yeah, I don't either.
I don't know if he was still in his pajamas when he did it. But anyway, he said something that was really interesting. He said, in talking to President Putin, no call from the White House at all over the last several years.
Really?
None.
Really? Yeah. Wow, it doesn't surprise me.
In fact, now I say they're buds. They respect each other and they talk.
Yeah.
Right. And that is the beginning of all things good.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, it's interesting because I think President Trump seems pretty confident that he's going to eventually get these sides together. I heard a report this morning coming in, and a reporter for the Washington Examiner was talking about the state of the war, something we really don't hear much about. But did you realize that Russia actually holds less land now in Ukraine than they did 1 month after the conflict started? They had 25% of the landmass of Ukraine a month after it started, and they were attacking Kyiv. Well, they've pulled back from that. Now they've lost 5% of the landmass that they had. Experts thought that Russia would roll over Ukraine in a matter of days or weeks. And we've seen it push back. And part of it is the drone warfare and the fact that it seems as though, like you have said over and over again, Russia may be a bit of a paper tiger.
Well, I think there's a lot to play out here, but I think there's some facts on the table. Fact number one, Ukraine will not become part of NATO.
Right.
Fact number two, I don't think Russia is going to give up anything that they've already won, primarily Crimea
Yep.
and that area. Now, there's another area up there. It's light red. I don't know what that means. They're there, but they haven't occupied it. Okay. Fact two is some form of Article 5 will be imposed, which is kind of like having the protection of NATO and all of the European countries without joining NATO, so that there is some kind of protection for Ukraine overall from future invasions. And I think that's going to be it. Now, a lot of the other details we don't know, sticks and carrots, you know, and the sticks would be tariffs and sanctions.
Right, right.
And I had one other person on yesterday. It was pretty clear that there's a part of this equation that's not being talked about. Will President Trump put sanctions or tariffs on China doing business with Russia?
Oh, that's huge. Yeah. Yeah.
He's done it to everybody else that does business with Russia, but he hasn't done it with China. Is that kind of the trump card?
I wonder. Yeah.
So a lot on the table. All right, one other little story yesterday. Believe it or not, there are other things going on in the news, and which is interesting to me because on Capitol Hill, they still having these House Oversight Committee hearings headed up by James Comer, and these are behind closed doors, and it has a lot to do with, believe it or not, the Epstein files and everything else. Well, guess who they subpoenaed? They subpoenaed former Attorney General Bill Barr, and he told the investigators yesterday that he never saw anything that could tie President Trump to Jeffrey Epstein's crimes. So that was his testimony yesterday.
Yeah.
So I have to ask the question, why is the judge not allowing the grand jury testimony to go public when the president's requested it? The Democrats want some kind of a list thrown out there. But if I can use the term, the smoking gun is the grand jury testimony, and the judge is sitting on it and said no.
Okay, do we know who the judge is, Perry? Because we've seen judicial activism at a level that we've never seen before.
Yeah.
Who's he protecting? Is he Democrat?
Well, that's the question. That's the question. I don't know who he is protecting.
Yeah, right.
So is there something in there? Apparently there never was a little black book of business people, clients.
Yeah, apparently.
They came and go as they went. It's all relational. Well, you know what? That's pretty typical in some of these rings, stuff like that.
Yeah, and besides that, she is kind of the key to it. She's kind of like the Rosetta Stone of this whole thing, Maxwell. And so it's going to be interesting.
She hasn't negotiated.
Right, they haven't given her a deal, have they?
No, they haven't.
She wants out.
And so that's yet to happen. In the meantime, First Lady Melania Trump wants to sue Hunter Biden for suggesting that during an Epstein event, Epstein introduced Melania to Trump.
Right.
And she came unglued with that.
Oh, yeah, $1 billion.
Anyway, so that's only a little $1 billion.
Have we heard anything as far, because obviously Hunter didn't get the clue. He kind of augured in on it. and he's standing on that, even though the information that he used has all been pulled off of internet.
It's ugly.
So yeah, can he afford to defend himself from a $1 billion lawsuit?
What do you do with this?
Yeah, what do you do with it?
Yeah, I think she goes as far as she can.
Yeah, I think so too.
Because she either has to get a retraction or an apology, or this thing's going through.
Right, and they don't give up.
By the way, where did she learn how to do that?
Yeah, I wonder.
Has Pam learned how to put the camper on the truck yet?
Oh, golly, we got a ways to go in my house.
We'll be right back.
You are the God who saves us, worthy of all our praises. Hosanna, Hosanna.
Grange Co-op, where big ideas grow.
The Lennox iComfort S30 thermostat can sense changes in your environment. It even knows when you come and go. So now your home's most important system is also the smartest.
Metal Masters can give you the smartest home comfort system available. It knows when you're away and adjusts when allergens and humidity get uncomfortable. Trust Metal Masters to provide perfect air for your family.
Lennox. Air is life. Make it perfect.
Applegate River Golf and RV Resort, a pristine 9-hole course alongside the Applegate River. Their clubhouse offers a golf simulator experience. The RV Resort is adjacent to the golf course with convenient pull-through parking. Applegate River Golf and RV Resort. Information at applegaterv.com.
Your property demands equipment with more reliability, durability, and versatility built in. Kubota equipment is ready to get the job done right.
All right, welcome back. Happy. You okay?
I'm telling you, we need to record the breaks.
Okay. Well, here's some interesting news. Guess what? Oregon is losing a new congressional seat.
What?
Yes, the latest seat that was created, Congressional District Number 6, apparently doesn't qualify anymore because people are leaving the state.
What? Yeah.
People are moving and leaving Oregon and going to Idaho, Washington, Arizona, Texas, and Nevada. So much so that this newly created, by the way, gerrymandered seat.
Of course. Yeah.
Is going to be taken away, which leaves a battle between the two remaining members to run for the seat. So we'll see how this goes, but this is apparently Oregon is losing people.
Yeah, interesting.
Does that tell you anything? And when does it show up in the business realm of things?
Yeah, and why is it that we see this exodus from blue states?
Well, it's obvious, you know.
Yeah.
But I really, this does surprise me because...
Me too, yeah.
I knew people, there's an old saying, it's kind of a tongue-in-cheek thing. People are leaving California coming to Southern Oregon.
Right.
Southern Oregon's going to Central Oregon.
Yeah.
Central Oregon's going to Idaho.
That's right. And look at the growth in Idaho.
Yeah.
It's stunning.
It's stunning.
Yeah.
And so when you see the migration, you kind of go, oh my stars, what's going on here? But in the meantime, it's real.
Yeah.
And people are not only going to Idaho, they're going to Washington, Arizona, Nevada, and Texas. And to the point where the newly created congressional seat number 6 doesn't have the population in it to sustain it.
Oh, wow.
Can you put that map back up there again? just for a second. Do you have that, Scott? Can you put that back up there? There's a scale there. Hello? Okay.
Okay.
If you look on the left there, you see kind of the yellow line with
Yeah.
Okay. The top one there is Texas. Look how many seats they're going to lose.
Wow. Oh, yeah. What?
I think it's Texas. Is it Texas? I can't see.
Yeah, it looks like it. Yeah.
All right. So, because their population is shifting around, okay? No, that's not Texas, is it? I can't see it. Oh, it's California. Excuse me. Look how many seats California is losing.
I see. I was looking at Texas at the very top. They're gaining.
And they're gaining.
Right.
And that's the whole battle going on in Texas right now.
Yes.
So no matter what Newsom does to gerrymander California, it doesn't really change anything.
Right. They're still losing seats.
Yeah.
Yes.
Not only that, but the place is so blue that people can't afford it. And guess what? You know what he said yesterday?
What?
He's going to reconsider fossil fuel because he's trying to protect the state from paying $8 a gallon.
Really?
You cannot afford to live in California.
Oh, my gosh.
And you know, the thing that I have about what's going on here in Oregon, you say 6 cents. Well, what's 6 cents? It's 6 cents will show up on every shelf of commerce in our state.
Yeah.
Anyway,
and it may
don't get me going.
It may be more, Perry.
Well, I'm trying to get Christine Drazen on. Apparently, she's leading a movement for this special session coming up because ODOT is $350 million in deficit. It's pretty simple. Take it out of the rainy day funds, fund them, and then call for an audit.
Yeah.
Don't add it in taxes.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's her movement, and she's great. I'm going to try to get her on to talk about that. Here's another little thing that'll affect us. You know what the president's doing?
I heard this.
Special order?
Yes.
Or special...
People are going to lose their minds over this.
He said he will lead a campaign to end mail-in voting. The president wrote in a post yesterday that all capital letters that the mail-in ballot is a scam and the election can never be honest, and he is going to produce an executive order that eliminates mail-in balloting during federal elections.
Do it. Do it. Now, I heard a couple things on this. It was commented on that he doesn't have the constitutional authority to do this. But I wonder, where in the Constitution does it say anything about mail-in ballots? Why have we gotten to this point? I don't get this. This is one of the most potential areas for fraud that you can see, and we do it here in Oregon, of course.
We're the first, I think.
Yeah, I think
Oregon
right.
and Washington. Now we've had a long vote by mail election cycle, and most people say there's no really widespread evidence of fraud. I will say this, there are certain counties that have managed this pretty well, our own being one of them. Christine Walker, she's done a great job on this and doing the double checking to make sure they're valid and all that.
Yeah.
But I think, from what I understand, the president can only do it for a federal election.
Okay, that's good.
So he can't do it for state elections.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
So the question would be, will this be a precursor for states to convert to?
I wonder. And let me ask you this, okay? In the day and age in which we live, where fraud is, and especially with AI coming on the scene and stuff, fraud is a real potential in a lot of these areas. And I think vulnerable is vote by mail.
Yeah.
And also, if they ever get to the point where we want to start doing things online, we know that we can get hacked. So automation is bringing us to a point where there's probably going to be less and less emphasis of bringing bodies into voting booths, into locations, and doing this manually. But the more that technology advances, I think the more it's impressed upon us that fraud can take place. And that's the only way you can secure the elections, is by checking ID and having people come in and actually vote. Is there any better way to shut down fraud than the old-fashioned way?
Yeah, I don't know what the solution is. Do you extend voting for a week?
I don't know.
Okay, that's problematic.
Yeah, I was going to say, and why? Why would we extend voting?
Why do you have early voting?
Yeah, why?
Absentee voting.
Well,
I mean, all this has to be looked at. I don't know what the answer is, but apparently in some states where people were getting 5 and 6 ballots, all they had to do is fill them out and drop them in the mail.
Right. Yeah, right. And if we keep hearing about fraud in the Social Security system,
so, yeah,
and Medicaid,
if thousands of people who are over the age of 160 are
who are they voting for?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, we're going to write in Jerry. We're way behind on everything. We'll take a break. We'll be right back. Okay. We're way behind.
Awake our souls, tear down the walls, dance in the freedom. Awake our souls, awake our souls, open our
Combining your home and auto insurance could save you time and money. And who doesn't like that? Want surprisingly great rates on auto, home, and life? Now's the time to call State Farm agent Rory Wold in Medford.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Hey, it's your old car here. Remember me? Remember us? You barely even turn me on anymore. It's clear you don't need me, but that's perfectly fine, my friend, because you can choose to give this old car new purpose and donate. There are incredible nonprofits out there that accept cars just like me. So call or donate online. Donating a vehicle is easy, the pickup is free, and your gift is tax deductible.
Welcome to Rise Direct Primary Care. Imagine a healthcare experience where you're known by name, cared for like family, and treated with compassion. How is that possible? With an affordable, flat monthly membership, you receive unlimited primary care and minor urgent care visits. No insurance needed. At Rise Direct Primary Care, we offer a friendly, affordable healthcare experience where you get a whole hour with your provider. Located in Central Medford and accessible by phone or text, we can typically get you in the same or next day. We prescribe urgent care medications directly from our office, saving you a trip and wait time at the pharmacy when you'd rather be at home getting better. Personalized medical care with a human touch. Rise Direct Primary Care is all about healing the sick with compassion and keeping the healthy healthy. Rise Direct Primary Care. We're here for you. Visit risehealthdpc.com or call or text us 541-827-8603. 541-827-8603.
All right. Good morning to you. 22 minutes before the hour, as the president's trying to solve one war between Ukraine and Russia, there's another one still going on between Hamas and Israel. So let's check in with CBN Newswatch and get caught up.
This is CBN Newswatch. Israel's expanded military offensive in Gaza is weakening Hamas. There are reports the terror group has agreed to a U.S. ceasefire. It's a proposal offered weeks ago. Israeli officials have not responded. They say the military offensive is putting pressure on Hamas. Paul Petit has more on our top story now, reporting from Jerusalem.
Hamas says it has agreed to the latest ceasefire hostage proposal as talks in the Middle East pick up steam. The IDF chief of staff is calling it a, quote, turning point in the war. But Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu appears to be taking a wait-and-see approach as the IDF continues its plans for the takeover of Gaza City.
I spoke with the defense minister and the IDF about our plans regarding Gaza City and the completion of our missions. And like you, I hear the reports in the media, and from them you can be impressed by one thing: Hamas is under immense pressure.
The Qatari Prime Minister met with Hamas and Egyptian mediators on a proposal that would include a 60-day truce, the release of 10 living Israeli hostages in exchange for the release of 200 Palestinian prisoners, the return of all remaining dead Israeli hostages in exchange for 10 Palestinian bodies, the temporary halt of an IDF offensive, and the formulation of a committee to govern Gaza.
Hamas, for the first time, after weeks of not being willing to discuss any deal to release hostages, even though Turkey had already approached it and Qatar had already approached it, suddenly it is on the table. The reason is clear and we see it now in discussion. Only their fear that we seriously intend to occupy Gaza, facing this alternative they are willing to discuss.
The new ceasefire plan is very similar to U.S. Envoy Steve Witkoff's proposal that fell apart earlier this summer. President Trump shares Netanyahu's skepticism. He took to Truth Social, posting, "We will only see the return of the remaining hostages when Hamas is confronted and destroyed. The sooner this takes place, the better the chance of success will be." While Hamas is under pressure from world leaders, Netanyahu is facing pressure at home. Another massive protest in Tel Aviv calling for the end of the war in Gaza is scheduled for this weekend. In Jerusalem, Paul Petit, CBN News.
Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky, along with Europe's top leaders, met at the White House Monday to talk about a peace deal and to stop the war. President Trump is hoping for a trilateral summit with Vladimir Putin, but Zelensky wants some guarantees from the United States.
What security guarantees do you need from President Trump to be able to make a deal? Is it American troops, intelligence, equipment? What is it?
Everything. It depends on the big countries, on the United States, on a lot of our friends.
President Trump says he would make sure the peace deal would be long-term.
The security, there's going to be a lot of help. It's going to be good. They are first line of defense because they're there. They're Europe. But we're going to help them out also. We'll be involved.
Although Putin opposes Ukraine joining NATO, Trump's team says the Russian leader is open to allies agreeing to defend Ukraine, but Russian officials are already pushing back on that claim. European leaders at the summit asked for an immediate ceasefire. President Trump previously agreed, but now he's asking or saying that it's best to go straight to a peace deal.
I like the concept of a ceasefire for one reason, because you'd stop killing people immediately, as opposed to in 2 weeks or 1 week or whatever it takes. But we can work a deal where we're working on a peace deal while they're fighting.
In other news this hour, Hurricane Erin is now a Category 3 storm east of the Bahamas, and it's moving closer to the east. Forecasters say it will not make a direct hit. Instead, they are predicting dangerous rip currents and flooded roads with waves up to 15 feet in the Outer Banks of North Carolina. Evacuations are already underway in that area. Tropical storm watchers are now in effect for coastal North Carolina and parts of Virginia.
All right, good morning to you. All right, a lot going on there. Okay, let's check out the weather with the guy, Spuds. Spuds is doing the weather this morning.
Look at our weather from Grange Co-op. With building high pressure, we'll see temperatures starting to move back up. So today in northern Oregon and southern Washington, mostly sunny with highs in the low 80s for Vancouver and Portland and mid 80s in Wilsonville and McMinnville. Moving down the Willamette Valley, mostly sunny with a high near 83 in Salem, patchy fog, then sunny and near 83 in Albany. Sunny skies with highs also near 83 for Corvallis and Eugene. Sunny skies across the central Oregon high desert with daytime high temperatures near 88 in Prineville and mid-80s for Bend and Sun River. Sunny and hot again today in Boise, Idaho with a high near 98. Along the Oregon coast, sunny with a high in the mid-70s in Coos Bay, sunny in upper 60s in Port Orford, patchy fog then mostly sunny in mid-50s in Brookings and partly sunny near 63 in Crescent City. In southern Oregon, sunny skies for the Rogue Valley and Klamath Basin with daytime high temperatures in the low 90s for Grants Pass and Medford and mid-80s for Ashland and Klamath Falls with lows in the low to mid-50s. Into northern California, sunny with a high in the upper 80s for Wairika, sunny and low to mid-90s for Redding and Chico, and near 90 in Sacramento with a light southwest wind this afternoon. In the Bay Area, patchy fog, then sunny and low 80s in Santa Rosa, becoming sunny with a high in the upper 70s in Napa, sunny in San Francisco with a high in the upper 60s, and today in San Jose, sunny and low 80s. A snapshot of your Tuesday weather from Grange Co-op.
Beautiful shot of our valley this morning, getting ready for a warming up, heading towards triple digits over the next couple of days, so get ready for that, but nice picture. All right, well, when Senator Kennedy talks, it's kind of always fun to watch and listen. He's kind of like his own entertainment, his one-liners. I don't know if he thinks them on the fly or if he writes them in advance. But they happen to drop at most interesting times. Anyway, he was talking to Sean Hannity last night, and the discussion had to do with the Democratic Party. Is it splitting? Is it going way to the left? I better use that hand. Way to the left. So on TV, I'll use that hand. Okay, the point being is they were talking about the split in the DNC, and here's what he had to say.
There is a split in the Democratic Party. Unless you have the IQ of a meat thermometer, you can see that. On the one hand, you have the mainstream wing of the party. On the other side, you have the what I call the loon wing of the party. The loon wing is winning. They're fighting like cats in a bag, but the loon wing is winning. Nobody pays any attention to what Obama or Clinton or Pelosi or Schumer or Jeffries says anymore. The leaders are Mr. Mondani and Ocasio-Cortez and Bernie Sanders. And yes, they're socialists, neo-socialists. They want government to control your life and tell you how to live it. It's hard to believe that anyone can fit that much stupid into their head, but they can. But that's not the defining characteristic of this crew. The defining characteristic of this crew, Sean, is contempt. To be a member of their club, you have to have contempt for America. Not gratitude, as you should, contempt. You have to believe that America was wicked when it was founded and that it's more wicked today. You have to believe that America is racist and sexist and unjust. That's why they all hate George Washington and Abraham Lincoln and Thomas Jefferson and Dr. Seuss and Mr. Potato Head. You also have to believe, to be a member of their club, that America is irredeemable. We can't fix it. We've got to burn it down. And finally, to fit in, you've got to be unhappy. They're just not happy people. They never smile. That's why they look like they're straining to pass a stool. How did we get here? Well, we stopped teaching our kids about the Cold War and Stalin's death camps in communist Soviet Union and the fact that Mao and communist China killed tens of millions of people. But also because the mainstream wing of the party is scared to death of the loon wing. They won't speak up, and they don't stand for anything anymore. All they stand for is whatever is against whatever President Trump stands for. That's why we find ourselves in the extraordinary position of mainstream Democrats have now come out firmly and passionately in favor of crime in Washington, D.C.
Yep.
Well, there you go.
Yep.
I thought he did a pretty good, but heat thermometer.
He's very illustrative in his speech.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh!
It's
All right.
All right.
Let's look back. The USS Constitution is nicknamed Old Ironsides, and it was on this day in history that it earned its nickname.
On August 19, 1812, during the War of 1812, the U.S. Navy frigate Constitution defeats the British frigate Guerriere in a furious engagement off the coast of Nova Scotia. Witnesses claimed that the British cannon fire merely bounced off the Constitution's sides as if the ship were made of iron rather than wood. By the war's end, Old Ironsides destroyed or captured 7 more British ships. The success of the USS Constitution against the supposedly invincible Royal Navy, the largest in the world, provided a tremendous boost in morale for the young American Republic. Old Ironsides is currently docked in the Charleston Navy Yard in Boston, Massachusetts. It's the oldest commissioned warship still afloat and hosts about 500,000 visitors each year. The ship remains an active unit, participating in various events and tours.
I'd like to see it. Have you seen it?
From a distance.
Oh, okay.
It's beautiful.
Oh, man, I'd love to get it.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. All right, we'll take a quick break and look for some baked potatoes. We'll be right back.
Black Flag Armory offers top brand affordable rifles, shotguns, handguns, and gear. We also offer an array of classes emphasizing safety, self-defense, and accuracy. We strive to provide the absolute best possible experience when buying a firearm. Family friendly for every skill level, Black Flag Armory in Medford and Grants Pass. Online at blackflagarms.com or 541-499-0779. 541-499-0779.
At Kelly's Automotive Service,
being good stewards of what God has entrusted to us
is at the core of our business.
We believe what we do matters.
Every interaction, every transaction is another opportunity. to bring Christ's values into the marketplace.
If you're a technician who wants to be part of something bigger,
Or just looking for a new shop to bring your vehicle.
We would love to meet you.
We're Kelly's Automotive Service,
where we service your vehicle,
But take care of you.
Hi everyone, my name's Pastor Doug, producer of Dusty's Neighborhood, a show that helps kids grow in their love for Jesus and His Word, the Bible.
Doug.
Hi, Dusty.
What you doing? What you doing?
I'm just talking to these nice folks about the new show.
Oh, well, hi, nice folks.
You know, today's kids consume lots of media, filled with all kinds of messages. But what about good, godly content? You see, we would like to produce faith-based programming.
Doug, what are you doing?
Well, I said I'm talking to these people about the show.
But you're making it sound so boring. Our
No,
show is
I'm-
not
it's-
boring. All right, kids, this is what you need to know. My new show is a blast. Jokes, check. Comedy, double check. Pastor Doug falling off a ladder and getting soaked in water and covered in cotton candy. Check, check, check. Boom, Dusty's Neighborhood. That's how you do it, Doug.
Check out Dusty's Neighborhood here on Dove TV.
All right, good morning to you. The term socialist and the term socialism and socialist countries, we actually have generations that believe they never existed, and they don't exist.
Yes.
So Charlie Kirk, who's probably one of the better college apologists I've ever seen, he takes us on, and here's a little bit of the exchange.
Okay.
I'm not a liberal. I'm more social. I'm
Okay.
Socialist
Yeah.
and liberal are different words, and I think conservatives confuse that a lot. They're completely different things. Okay.
No, we don't. So I'm just curious, as someone who would say you're a socialist, what would be a country you think works well that's a socialist country?
There are no socialist countries right now.
There are no has there ever been a socialist country?
Truly socialist? No.
Okay. So your worldview is on something that's never existed and currently doesn't exist?
Is it a bad thing to be like pro change?
Okay, so just so we're clear, the type of change you're advocating is horrifying. But so it's never existed, doesn't, and so I would say Venezuela, Cuba, North Korea, formerly Vietnam, the Soviet Union, those are not and were not socialist countries?
The disastrous effects in those countries were directly contributed by U.S. intervention. There were multiple coups done by the CIA in those countries.
So let's take. Hold on, guys. Hold on. Let's take. I'm just curious. And so, how on earth did Fidel Castro taking over Cuba have anything to do with U.S. intervention?
There was plenty of sanctions. Economically, Cuba was completely cut off. There was no. They tried to assassinate him plenty of times. There were so many things.
The fact that they're
US
communist.
Yeah.
We had what to do with that?
We didn't have anything to do with that. But after a communist regime took over, they had a.
Yeah. So let me ask you another. So first of all, Zimbabwe was not communist.
Burkina Faso, Thomas Sankara.
Say that again.
Thomas Sankara, Burkina Faso. Before he was assassinated, he was actually
How about Mugabe? He wasn't a communist? How about Joseph Stalin? He wasn't a communist?
He called himself
How about Mao Zedong? He wasn't a communist?
Yeah.
Pol Pot?
Plenty of terrible people have called themselves plenty of different names. North Korea,
Oh, so you get to be the
Korea
judge.
calls
Got
themselves
it. Right. So I just want to make sure we complete the point. You believe in something that doesn't exist, has never existed, and even though the people that call themselves the things that you believe, you say they weren't really that, which is the most important point. Socialism is always judged against an impossible utopia, and they judge markets against a reality. And here's the truth of the matter. That markets, which you enjoy comfortably in Western society, is the most proven affluent creating machine in human history. And I would just challenge you to do one thing. Please stop believing in a utopian nightmare and start looking at things around you that are good, that are true, that are beautiful, that work, and are consistent with the natural law. You'll be a much happier person if you do that.
Well, he makes a good point there.
He does.
So to me, it's interesting that you kind of wonder where she came up with that. And I don't think she's alone.
Right.
I do find something, though, that people that have very strong views against what Charlie's talking about wear a mask.
Yeah, a lot of times they do. And a lot of times the protesters that come out to, oppose him, they're all masked up too. Yeah. But what we're really seeing is a groundswell of support for him, where he used to sit on college campuses pretty much on his own. Mm-hmm. Now there's a groundswell of other students around him they've been enlightened.
It's changing. There's a headline this morning, Christian Revival, belief in God triples among 18 to 24-year-olds in Britain.
Wow.
It's changing.
Wow.
Okay. Take with you Matthew 16, verse 18. On this rock I will build my church, and the gates of Hades shall not prevail against it. And what was that rock? That Jesus Christ is the Lord. Mm-hmm. All right, we'll be right back.
I can't explain. It's heaven, sweet refrain when I sing your name.
Pastor Robert Jeffers of the First Baptist Church in Dallas, Texas.
Not just about Christ Jesus, but that I might know him.
Helping you learn, grow, and get on the pathway to victory. Catch it 7 times every weekend on the Dove TV.
Go where the wild runs deep. At Hellgate Jet Boat Excursions, you feel the power of the mighty Rogue River as you take in the sights and sounds of nature, journey through Hellgate Canyon, and adventure through the breathtaking wilderness. Enjoy brunch or dinner on the open-air deck of the exclusive Hellgate River Lodge, and end your adventure with our exciting jet boat spins. It's a memory in the making with family and friends. Book your adventure at Hellgate.com. Hellgate Jet Boat Excursions, where adventure runs wild.
Clean water is essential to your good health. Ultra Pure Purified Water has been delivering purified, healthy drinking water to the Rogue Valley since 1995. Locally owned and family run, Ultra Pure Purified Water uses a multi-stage process ensuring your delivery of water is 99.8% pure, so your family stays hydrated and healthy. Online at ultrapurewaterinc.com or call 541-734-0828. 541-734-0828.
Come fall in love with Northridge Senior Living, where contemporary sunlit interiors meet old world elegance. Walk through our lovely hallways and enjoy the fun staff-led activities. Forge lasting friendships with other residents and our exceptional caregivers. Dine in style. Gather near the fireplace under breathtaking chandeliers. Our reasonably priced apartments are spacious with private balconies. Northridge is Christian owned and operated, pet friendly, and only 2 blocks from Asante Rogue Regional Medical Center. On-site 24/7 in-home care is available. We also offer senior adult daycare where your loved one can spend the day with us and the evenings with you. Northridge Senior Living, your home.
How healthy is your health food?
If it's not organic, it has a compound that destroys gut health and causes cancer.
Harmful chemicals may be hiding in plain sight.
Why are they allowed in America and nowhere else in the world?
What's the takeaway for America? How does MAHA help change the way we've been conducting our dietary lives?
Tuesday on the 700 Club, right here on the Dove TV.
Would you like to know your faith better? Then join me for the John Ankerberg Show weekdays at 4 o'clock right here on the Dove TV. It'll be encouraging and informative.
Well, good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to Mornings on the Dove. I'm Perry, and this is Mr. Potato Head right here.
Yes, indeed. Good morning.
Better known as Spuds.
Yes, Spuds. Yeah, I answer to a lot of names, and that's one of them.
All right, we'll tell you about that coming up in just a few moments. Good morning to you. Beautiful weather out there. Get ready for the temperatures to move into triple digits over the next several days, and then it backs down. But what's interesting about it, the days are shorter, so it's hot, and then it cools off at night, and that's causing the trees already to start turning out there. So keep an eye on that. School will be starting. Some has already started.
Yeah.
So over the next 3 weeks, schools will slowly start to engage for the fall.
Right, and you're going to start seeing those caution lights blinking in school zones, and of course we know what that's all about and what that speed limit is. 20, not Got a 1 over, yeah.
Not 21.
That's right.
It's the one place they give you no grace.
Yeah. You know, that is true.
They don't.
Oh, you are right.
And for
good reason. Yeah.
Yeah, 21.
Yep.
All right, good morning to you. Quite the meeting yesterday in Washington, D.C. Iconic time, really, in such a way. Historic.
Yeah.
We'll have some information, some fascinating picture that was taken yesterday afternoon. We'll show you here in a little bit. So all that going on, what's up?
Well, first of all, it is a good day for you. It's National Aviation Day.
Hold on.
Recognizing the pioneers of human flight. And I did not know, you have your pilot's license here, right?
I'm pulling it up.
I didn't have a clue that not only are Wilbur and Orville on it, but the Wright Flyer is on it as well.
It's a shadow in the background.
That is so cool. And then a big, what is that big jet on the top?
No, that's a good question. I don't know what that is.
I wonder.
Okay, so it's got the kind of aviation history on it. Has my name, that I'm a U.S. citizen.
Okay.
Commercial pilot. There's my number.
Yeah.
Okay, then back here it says airplane, single and multi-engine land instrument airplane with limitations. Okay, limitations has to do with size of aircraft, unless I have what they call type ratings in other aircraft.
Okay. Now here's what I want to
look at. Like a jet or a turbine.
As we look at the pioneers in aviation, guys like Orville and Wilbur, and they weren't alone. There were others, Now they flipped a coin to see who'd be the first one to climb onto the Wright Flyer, and the loser was climbed on because obviously you think back on the learning process in aviation school and what you had to go through to get a pilot's license to learn how to fly. What would that be like, climbing onto something that you've never flown before and nobody taught you anything about it?
That takes a lot of guts, and I remember when I soloed.
Okay, I was going to ask you about this. Good, thank you.
It's one of those things that you'll never, ever, ever forget.
Really?
Yeah, and the instructor I had, he was a military guy. He literally pounded on the dash of the airplane. Do this, do that.
Oh, no way.
So he was going to teach me the hard way.
Okay.
But he soloed me in 8 hours.
8 hours?
Yeah.
Is that quick? Normal schedule?
Yeah, some people.
Isn't that a reflection on your skill level?
I don't know what. To me, it was just sheer dumb.
Okay.
Because we were out at this abandoned air base out in the Central Valley. He takes students there, and that's where we did touch and goes and all. So, and I wasn't even expecting it. So, and I was still practicing landings. And he said, "Pull over to the side." We landed. And he said, "Pull over there." I pulled over there. I thought, man, I'm going to get chewed out.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just one of those kind of guys. He jumps out. He said, "Do 3 touch and goes, and then come back and get me."
No way.
Yeah.
Really?
And I thought, what? I took off, and I'm on downwind, and I'm going, I'm flying an airplane all by myself.
All by yourself, wow.
know.
Okay, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Now that you look back on it, would you rather have been surprised like that or stressed out knowing that today's the day I solo?
That's a good point.
Huh?
Yeah, and the traditional thing when you solo,
yeah,
you come back and they cut the tail off your shirt.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. It's an aviation tradition.
Tail, so you got to wear the
So you wear a shirt, no matter what you're wearing. They're going to cut the back of your shirt off.
No kidding.
They're going to write your date on that you solo and tack it up in the
Well, look at this. We're learning stuff that only aviation folks would know.
You should always lose your tail feathers.
I'll be darned.
Yeah.
Okay.
But anyway, that's behind me now. Then I went on and learned how to fly.
That's your day. Okay, Aviation Day.
It's a great day.
Here's my day. National Potato Head Day. It's actually National Potato
You're a son of
Day.
a potato farm.
I am the son of a potato farm. I have had them every way you can imagine. And Mom is shaking her head. Yep, and we still like spuds in my family. But did you know that according to the International Potato Center, there are more than 4,000 varieties of potatoes that grow around the world?
Really?
They come in a variety of sizes and colors. Have you had those little potatoes, the baby spuds that come in? They're wonderful.
Yeah, You can get those at Costco.
They have no fat or cholesterol. They're loaded with vitamin C and potassium, and but depending on your dietary needs, they're a little bit high in carbohydrates. So for folks who are on the low carb intake, spuds are probably not on your list, but boy, are they good. And then when you're all done, let's have some soft serve ice cream for dessert. And of course, soft serve ice cream is a development that was an accident. In 1934, on Memorial Day, Tom Carvel in New York had a flat tire after pulling his ice cream truck into a parking lot. He knew his product was melting, and as vacationers drove by, Carvel sold the softened ice cream to them, and folks love the soft ice cream. So he recognized the potential for a new dessert, and instead of a roving ice cream truck, Carvel decided to have a fixed location with his soft ice cream, and so 2 years later, he opened his first store right on the site where his truck broke down.
Oh.
And he patented super low temperature ice cream and created a secret formula. And what's the difference? Well, they're ice cream, hard ice cream and soft ice cream are made with the same ingredients. Soft ice cream has less milk fat. It also has more air than hard ice cream, and that contributes to ice cream being more delicate and smoother.
I just love it.
And what's not to like? Yeah.
Well, the price.
The price. You are right.
They charge too much for it.
Yes.
But, I will say this, that if we ever do the Dove dog, you know, we want Dove coffee and a pastry. I don't know what that is yet. Then the Dove dog somewhere between 11 and 2. And then the Dove soft ice cream.
Now, I know you like vanilla ice cream, and I love it too. How do you rate the Kirkland vanilla ice cream? Even as that softens up, that's like a delicacy.
Well, the Kirkland ice cream bars are the best buy.
Well, yeah, dipped in the chocolate with the nuts. Oh, yeah. You get me off here. Okay, let's move on. I can't take this anymore. Okay. All right, we know that protest comes in many forms, and sometimes in a very creative form, as is the case here, because in 2016, to protest censorship, filmmaker Charlie Lynn submitted a 10-hour movie of drying white paint to the British Board of Film Classification, and the board had to watch the film titled Paint Drying in its entirety, all 10 hours and 7 minutes of it, in order to give it an age rating classification. And you can do the same. You can go on YouTube, and the full film is available for your viewing.
Really?
So enjoy.
Well, I'd rather watch paint dry than listen to some liberal talk.
And you know what? Liberals are really good on censorship, so here, dedicate this one to a liberal
That's great. All right, well, let's check out Spud's weather forecast here.
A look at our weather from Grange Co-op. With building high pressure, we'll see temperatures starting to move back up. So today in northern Oregon and southern Washington, mostly sunny with highs in the low 80s for Vancouver and Portland and mid 80s in Wilsonville and McMinnville. Moving down the Willamette Valley, mostly sunny with a high near 83 in Salem, patchy fog, then sunny and near 83 in Albany. Sunny skies with highs also near 83 for Corvallis and Eugene. Sunny skies across the central Oregon high desert with daytime high temperatures near 88 in Prineville and mid-80s for Bend and Sun River. Sunny and hot again today in Boise, Idaho with a high near 98. Along the Oregon coast, sunny with a high in the mid-70s in Coos Bay, sunny in upper 60s in Port Orford, patchy fog, then mostly sunny in mid-50s in Brookings, and partly sunny near 63 in Crescent City. In southern Oregon, sunny skies for the Rogue Valley and Klamath Basin with daytime high temperatures in the low 90s for Grants Pass and Medford and mid-80s for Ashland and Klamath Falls with lows in the low to mid-50s. Into northern California, sunny with a high in the upper 80s for Wairika, sunny and low to mid-90s for Redding and Chico, and near 90 in Sacramento with a light southwest wind this afternoon. In the Bay Area, patchy fog, then sunny and low 80s in Santa Rosa, becoming sunny with a high in the upper 70s in Napa, sunny in San Francisco with a high in the upper 60s, and today in San Jose, sunny and low 80s. A snapshot of your Tuesday weather from Grange Co-op.
Beautiful shot of our southern Oregon Valley with a little bit of the shadow of the mountain over the top, and looking for warming temperatures. That's the color of dry. Okay, be careful out there.
It's going to get drier and warmer, so be careful out there. Well, time for Pastor Jack Graham as he reveals God's great love in the discipline that David had to go through.
God sent illness, God sent brokenness into his life, God sent pain into his life in order to get his attention. And ultimately, God sent a prophet by the name of Nathan to point his long prophetic finger in his face and say, "You are the man." And he brought David to a time of repentance. And David was later able to write that God punished him, God disciplined him through this great sin in his life. But he said he did it in order to teach me his love and his grace and his power. David paid for his sin in many ways for the rest of his life. His children went haywire. The kingdom was at risk. He wasted so much, and yet personally he was able to return to the Lord because the Lord rebuked him and the Lord restored him, and he'll restore you if you don't run from him. That's why it says in this passage, don't take lightly the discipline of the Lord. Don't blow it off. Let God do his perfect work in you, his perfecting work in you, and bring you to right living, righteousness with him. Is God correcting you? God may be using this message right now to rebuke you and by his Spirit convict you and to bring you back to his love and his grace. You're going in the wrong direction. You can't sin and win. And because he is a loving heavenly Father, he refuses to let you keep going.
Pretty powerful.
Yeah.
Something to think about. 12 minutes past the hour. Let's take a look at the top stories. And yesterday was literally historic in the nation's capital as there was a meeting between President Trump and President Zelensky. This is only 2.5 days after meeting with President Putin, followed by 7 other European leaders that came to the White House to meet. And it was really an astonishing moment. There's a picture here. I want to show it to you. You guys have that one picture? This is a picture of the Oval Office after the meeting. There's President Trump sitting behind his desk in the Oval Office with all 7 European leaders, 8 of them now.
Wow.
In front of him. Now, who's in charge?
Yeah, I was going to say, caption this, who's the boss?
Who's in charge here? Isn't this amazing?
It's stunning, yeah. It really is.
It's historic. Okay, so anyway.
But isn't it interesting, you know, the mainstream news media is still saying that basically Zelensky brought all these people as protection against Trump's bullying. These people are there at the behest of the president. He invited them. He brought all these people in.
Look, this is the ultimate pressure on Putin.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is the ultimate pressure on Putin. All right, so at a news conference, the president talks about a plan to now put together a trilateral meeting, and here's what he had to say.
Well, we're going to work with Ukraine, we're going to work with everybody, and we're going to make sure that if there's peace, the peace is going to stay long term. This is very long term. We're not talking about a 2-year peace and then we end up in this mess again. We're going to make sure that everything's good. We'll work with Russia, we're going to work with Ukraine, and we're going to make sure it works. And I think if we can get to peace, it's going to work. I have no doubt about it. The war is going to end. When it ends, I can't tell you, but the war is going to end, and this gentleman wants it to end, and Vladimir Putin wants it to end. I think the whole world is tired of it, and we're going to get it ended. It was, you know, I've done 6 wars. I've ended 6 wars, and I thought this maybe would be the easiest one, and it's not the easiest one. It's a tough one. A lot of reasons for it, and they'll be talking about it for a long time. But they'll be talking about the others. Look, India, Pakistan. We're talking about the big places. When you look at you just take a look at some of these wars. You go to Africa and take a look at that. Rwanda and the Congo, Republic of the Congo. That's been going on for 31 years. And so we've done a total of 6, and we really have 6, not including the fact that we obliterated, and it turned out to be a total obliteration, the nuclear, as you said, the future nuclear capability of Iran. And this one, I think we're going to get solved also. I feel confident we're going to get it solved.
Okay.
Yeah, but isn't it interesting, too, that you watch the legacy news media and they're looking at this? I'm really disappointed this time around in how hard they root for him to fail, and especially in such important matters as trying to bring peace to this area of the world, even the Middle East. Now, did you hear Putin the other day? What he said is that if Donald Trump was president, it probably wouldn't have happened. Now, also, Trump was given credit from a diplomat saying that nobody else could have brought these people together into this stage of negotiations except Donald Trump. And now it turns out the head of NATO says, yeah, Donald Trump was right. And he was right in getting the other members to pay their fair share in NATO. So he keeps getting all these successes, but if you're watching the wrong coverage, you would have no idea.
Well, I guess what's so interesting to me is he's trying.
Yes.
And there's no credit for that. All of a sudden, there's geopolitical experts all over the world and all over media.
Yeah. Yes.
So, I don't know. It's pretty interesting. Well, here's a clip. He's meeting with the leaders yesterday, and Zelensky and 7 others. I mean, you had the British Prime Minister, you have Macron from France, you had the Prime Minister from Italy. I mean, it's really quite interesting. And they took a few moments to thank the president. Here's a little clip from that.
Well, we're going to let the president go over and talk to the president, and we'll see how that works out. And if we can do that, I will say, and again, I say it, in the 6 wars that I've settled, I haven't had a ceasefire. We just got into negotiations, and one of the wars was, as you know, in the Congo was 31 years long. Another one that we settled last week with 2 great countries was 35 years going on, and we had no ceasefire. So if we can do the ceasefire, great. And if we don't do a ceasefire, because many other points were given to us, many points were given to us, great points. Please, Georgia, go ahead.
Well, thank you very much, Donald, Mr. President, for hosting us today in this important meeting. And I think it is an important day, a new phase, after 3 years and a half that we didn't see any kind of sign from the Russian side that there was a willing for dialogue. So something is changing, something has changed, thanks to you. Thanks also to the stalling in the battlefield, which was achieved with the bravery of Ukrainians and with the unity that we all provided to Ukraine. We are always ready to bring our proposals for peace, for dialogue. It's something we have to build together to guarantee peace and to defend the security of our nation. So thank you, Mr. President, for hosting us.
Thank you very much.
Well, there's a clip that'll never get on the legacy news media.
No, but I think what you have here is Europe understanding that they have to stand with Ukraine and they have to give what they call Article 5 protection, which is like having the protection of NATO without being a member of NATO. That if a peace agreement is going to be come about, that's going to have to be secured. That Russia can't do this again.
Right.
So this is where all the other nations come in.
I did not realize, I was listening to a report this morning, that Russia actually is holding less Ukrainian land right now at this stage of the war than they did 1 month into the war, where they had 25% of the landmass of Ukraine. Now they've been pushed back to about 20%. Obviously, the Ukrainians have put up a much bigger fight than they anticipated, and maybe they are less of a military force than they thought as well, the Russians.
Well, if it was just Russia, it would probably have gotten to this point a long time ago, but Russia is being sustained by China. And so if China is sanctioned into the ground or tariffed into the ground, that could slow things down. But it doesn't appear that Russia has this. It ends up being a paper tiger. The only thing Russia has, and it's to be respected, they probably have the second largest nuclear arsenal in the world. We have the first. So, and that's to be respected, you know, especially with a hothead like Putin. You know, so anyway, the squeeze is on. We'll see where this is going to go. One last story. In the meantime, there's other things going on in Capitol Hill, and they have what they call the House Oversight Committee. This is James Comer. He's been subpoenaing everybody. And a lot of it has to do with the Epstein case, is back in the news a little bit. But former Attorney General Bill Barr was brought in to testify. Now, Bill Barr is kind of an interesting guy. He has been pretty critical of the president. There's a lot of rumors about him, but none of them have been substantiated. If you read the conspiracy files, I mean, this is a walking bad guy.
Yeah.
Okay, but none of that's come to light yet.
Yeah.
Or maybe never.
Yeah.
But anyway, so he goes in and he testifies, and he basically says this, under his watch, he never saw anything that could tie President Trump to the Jeffrey Epstein crimes. So that was his take on it. So
yeah, well, and it was also pointed out that these files have been available for many years. The Democrats have controlled them, and is there any doubt that if Donald Trump really was in them, that it would have been leaked already by Biden? I mean, of course it would have been.
So the only question is, why is the judge, the president and the DOJ and the FBI has said to the judge, release the grand jury testimony to the public, and the judge says no.
I wonder why. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right, we'll take a potato break.
Strengthen my weakness, and you are refuge I seek. You are everything in my time.
Range Co-op, where big ideas grow.
Spring is around the corner and summer is on its way. With fire danger biting at its heels, flammable blackberries and underbrush will grow like gangbusters and sprout fire danger in no time. A wise property owner knows the best time to take care of fire danger is to extinguish it before it gets started. GMV Forestry LLC can help you protect your property with adequate fire brush clearing to fireproof a zone around your precious property. With over 35 years experience, GMV Forestry LLC has the knowledge, experience, and all the equipment you need to get the job done right, offering a wide variety of services like mulching, field mowing, snow removal, driveway clearing, ditch cleaning, gravel delivery and spreading, driveway sweeping, logging, and more. GMV Forestry LLC does it all, and they do it right. GMV Forestry LLC, the team you can trust. 541-660-6445. 541-660-6445.
Have you seen Mornings on the Dove?
They're trying to track down what and how did the auto pen of former President Joe Biden was used? And did the president ever give the order? This is serious stuff. The legacy media reporting the bombing in Iran was low effect. The sites were obliterated. They were gone. You got to ask yourself the question, why are you doing this?
News with a little bit of common sense. Mornings on the Dove, weekdays 6 to 8 a.m.
Okay, how you all doing out there? Let's take a look quickly at some Oregon news. It looks like Oregon's going to lose a congressional seat. Congressional seat number 6 apparently has shrunk in population to the point where it no longer qualifies to have its own congressional seat. And this is a big deal. And so what happens is now, if you ever look at Oregon's congressional district, they're pretty weird. And they took Congressional District 5, which is part of Portland, and moved it clear on out to take in Bend. You talk about gerrymandering. Just go look at the Oregon map. Okay? Well, Congressional District is kind of wedged in between 1, 5, and 4. And it's kind of to the west of 5. So it's kind of like below Portland, above Willamette Valley, and to the west of this other gerrymandered district of 5. So apparently it's going to go away, which leaves 2 congressional people running for the same seat.
Wow, okay.
And why? Why? Because people are moving from Oregon to Idaho to Washington to Arizona to Nevada and to Texas.
And boy, is California losing.
And California is losing a bunch of seats.
Yeah.
And of course, Newsom now, in order to be, he's running for president,
right?
Which is great. Let him go for it. But the point being is that he's trying to be, counter Trump and counter Texas. What more are you going to do to California?
Yeah.
Is he going to take the northern seats away, the few red seats that are up in the rural area of California, and try to turn them red?
Yeah.
Wait till the voters go.
Look at the San Joaquin Valley. It's traditionally a pretty conservative area, but boy.
So anyway, but we're going to lose a seat.
Yeah.
We're going to be back
Just
to 5.
one small point about all this. We look at gerrymandering in a negative connotation. How did it get that name? Why is it gerrymandering? Why can't it be terrymandering or perrymandering?
Well, because it followed potato farmers.
This is not right.
I don't know. You have a cousin, some bad guy?
I don't know.
I don't know. It's either redistricting, gerrymandering, or reapportionment. Those are the 3 names. It all means the same thing.
Yeah.
But we'll see how this works out. But this is big news for Oregon. I mean, we're losing people. When are we going to start losing companies? Well, if they pass the gas tax, it could be the beginning of it.
Yep.
So in the meantime, they're going to have a special session. I want to get Christine Drazen on. She heads at the House Republicans and talk, because she says, look, this is an emergency. We should dip into the rainy day fund, loan them the money, so to speak, and then turn around and do an audit.
Yeah.
Don't tax people.
Yeah.
All right. The last thing is the president issued yesterday that he's planning on doing an executive order to eliminate vote by mail. So this would only be applied to federal elections. The question is, can this be stopped by states? I don't know. And what does it mean? And how would we vote otherwise?
Let's do it the old-fashioned way.
Go to the school?
In person, yes.
Stand in line for 2 hours?
Show your ID.
Oh, show the ID.
Show your ID and then go in? Absolutely.
Okay. We'll keep an eye on this, but I don't know how this works out. But apparently he's waving that saber in the air. We'll see how it goes. But
I hope he wins it.
We'll see what happens, because Oregon and Washington, one of the 2 oldest states that have done this. And I will say this, as bad as vote by mail is, I would say there are counties out there that have managed this pretty well, our own being one of them. And Christine Walker, she's done an excellent job in trying to, look at the voter file, make sure they're real bodies and people qualified.
Yeah, and that's a big question, because we know that there are, folks who have passed away that are still on the rolls. Do we know what that is like in Oregon at all? We've heard this about other places.
I think it's county by county, and what has to happen here is it's called purging the voter file.
Yeah.
And we should be doing that.
Yeah.
We should be doing that. And there's plenty of time in between elections to take a look at that. So, anyways, those are some of the top stories. We're going to lose a congressional seat. Gerrymandering. I don't know. Listen, I deal with it every day on the air.
Gerrymandering.
Let's take a look at Wall Street real quick. J&P mandering. There we go.
There you go.
Thank you, Preston over there at Smart Lawn. He's a great guy. We like him a lot. Get a Smart Lawn. You want to mow it. Let's see. The Dow's up 150. The Nas is down 100, and the S&P at 3.5 points off. So kind of mixed numbers this morning, probably because of the meetings. The gold back up a few pennies, 33.79. Silver's down a little bit, just below 38. And crude oil down a little bit, 65.19. Hey, we'll take that.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, one of the most fun bits that we can have in the morning is listening to John Kennedy sound bites. And we have one, as Senator John Kennedy joined Fox's Sean Hannity, and he discussed the split that has occurred in the Democrat Party because of AOC and Mamdani. Let's listen.
There is a split in the Democratic Party. Unless you have the IQ of a meat thermometer, you can see that. On the one hand, you have the mainstream wing of the party. On the other side, you have the what I call the loon wing of the party. The loon wing is winning. They're fighting like cats in a bag, but the loon wing is winning. Nobody pays any attention to what Obama or Clinton or Pelosi or Schumer or Jeffrey says anymore. The leaders are Mr. Mamdani and Ocasio-Cortez and Bernie Sanders. And yes, they're socialists, neo-socialists. They want government to control your life and tell you how to live it. It's hard to believe that anyone can can fit that much stupid into their head, but they can't. But that's not the defining characteristic of this crew. The defining characteristic of this crew, Sean, is contempt. To be a member of their club, you have to have contempt for America. Not gratitude, as you should, contempt. You have to believe that America was wicked when it was founded and that it's more wicked today. You have to believe that America is racist and sexist and unjust. That's why they all hate George Washington and Abraham Lincoln and Thomas Jefferson and Dr. Seuss and Mr. Potato Head. You also have to believe, to be a member of their club, that America is irredeemable. We can't fix it. We've got to burn it down. And finally, to fit in, you've got to be unhappy. They're just not happy people. They never smile. That's why they look like they're straining to pass a stool. How did we get here? Well, we stopped teaching our kids about the Cold War and Stalin's death camps in communist Soviet Union and the fact that Mao and communist China killed tens of millions of people. But also because the mainstream wing of the party is scared to death of the loon wing. They won't speak up, and they don't stand for anything anymore. All they stand for is whatever is against whatever President Trump stands for. That's why we find ourselves in the extraordinary position of mainstream Democrats have now come out firmly and passionately in favor of crime in Washington, D.C.
Yep.
Yeah, so if you play this scenario forward, you ask yourself, let's just take for an example, just for the point of conversation, you put Gavin Newsom in there to become their presidential candidate for 28.
All right.
Does he stand for common sense, or does he try to keep that radical left in place while he's losing people on the left? Now, the people that he loses on the left are people who will not vote for Republican, but they just won't vote.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
They just won't vote.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So I think the DNC's got real problems here. You know, they need a Kennedy, they need a Clinton, they need somebody that can be a charmer and talk common sense.
Yeah.
But if Newsom is now so obsessed being mad at Trump, he can't even see straight.
Oh, I know. And
in the meantime, his state is burning up.
Unfortunately, he has a record that if he decides to run, that he's going to have to run on.
Yeah, can't shake it.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting times. Okay, well, listen, meat thermometer, potato head. We'll be right back.
Applegate River Golf and RV Resort, a pristine 9-hole course alongside the Applegate River. Their clubhouse offers a golf simulator experience. The RV Resort is adjacent to the golf course with convenient pull-through parking. Applegate River Golf and RV Resort. Information at applegaterv.com.
Hey, this is Ed, co-owner of Visiting Angels. To continue to serve our seniors, we need more caregivers with a heart to serve. Our mission statement is honoring the art of giving, which means we honor you, the caregiver. We know it's our people that make Visiting Angels the best in-home care provider and a great place to work. Come be our next amazing caregiver. Give us a call or apply online. At Visiting Angels, we're committed to you because we honor the art of giving.
The Lennox iComfort S30 thermostat can sense changes in your environment. It even knows when you come and go. So now your home's most important system is also the smartest.
Metal Masters can give you the smartest home comfort system available. It knows when you're away and adjusts when allergens and humidity get uncomfortable. Trust Metal Masters to provide perfect air for your family.
Lennox. Air is life. Make it perfect.
Hi, I'm the SOS Alarm guy, here to tell you about a great deal. SOS Alarm will not only beat any internet deal, but will install the system too. So burglars, beware. SOS Alarm for security and beyond.
Looking for the perfect RV adventure?
Team Toner's got you covered from homes to homes on wheels.
Discover unbeatable deals only at American RV in Southern Oregon.
Well, how y'all doing out there? Okay, well, listen, you got President Trump at the White House meeting with 8 leaders from European countries, including Zelensky from Ukraine, previously met with President Putin. On the other side of the world, we still have this problem going on with Hamas, Gaza, and Israel. So let's check in with CBN Newswatch.
This is CBN Newswatch. Israel's expanded military offensive in Gaza is weakening Hamas. There are reports the terror group has agreed to a U.S. ceasefire. It's a proposal offered weeks ago. Israeli officials have not responded. They say the military offensive is putting pressure on Hamas. Paul Petit has more on our top story now, reporting from Jerusalem.
Hamas says it has agreed to the latest ceasefire hostage proposal as talks in the Middle East pick up steam. The IDF chief of staff is calling it a, quote, turning point in the war. But Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu appears to be taking a wait-and-see approach as the IDF continues its plans for the takeover of Gaza City.
I spoke with the defense minister and the IDF about our plans regarding Gaza City and the completion of our missions. And like you, I hear the reports in the media, and from them you can be impressed by one thing: Hamas is under immense pressure.
The Qatari prime minister met with Hamas and Egyptian mediators on a proposal that would include a 60-day truce, the release of 10 living Israeli hostages in exchange for the release of 200 Palestinian prisoners, the return of all remaining dead Israeli hostages in exchange for 10 Palestinian bodies, the temporary halt of an IDF offensive, and the formulation of a committee to govern Gaza.
Hamas, for the first time, after weeks of not being willing to discuss any deal to release hostages, even though Turkey had already approached it and Qatar had already approached it, suddenly it is on the table. The reason is clear and we see it now in discussion. Only their fear that we seriously intend to occupy Gaza, facing this alternative, they are willing to discuss.
The new ceasefire plan is very similar to U.S. Envoy Steve Witkoff's proposal that fell apart earlier this summer. President Trump shares Netanyahu's skepticism. He took to Truth Social, posting, "We will only see the return of the remaining hostages when Hamas is confronted and destroyed. The sooner this takes place, the better the chance of success will be." While Hamas is under pressure from world leaders, Netanyahu is facing pressure at home. Another massive protest in Tel Aviv calling for the end of the war in Gaza is scheduled for this weekend. In Jerusalem, Paul Petit, CBN News.
Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky, along with Europe's top leaders, met at the White House Monday to talk about a peace deal and to stop the war. President Trump is hoping for a trilateral summit with Vladimir Putin, but Zelensky wants some guarantees from the United States.
What security guarantees do you need from President Trump to be able to make a deal? Is it American troops, intelligence, equipment? What is it?
Everything. It depends on the big countries, on the United States, on a lot of our friends.
President Trump says he would make sure the peace deal would be long-term.
The security, there's going to be a lot of help. It's going to be good. They are first line of defense because they're there. They're Europe. But we're going to help them out also. We'll be involved.
Although Putin opposes Ukraine joining NATO, Trump's team says the Russian leader is open to allies agreeing to defend Ukraine, but Russian officials are already pushing back on that claim. European leaders at the summit asked for an immediate ceasefire. President Trump previously agreed, but now he's asking or saying that it's best to go straight to a peace deal.
I like the concept of a ceasefire for one reason, because you'd stop killing people immediately, as opposed to in 2 weeks or 1 week or whatever it takes. But we can work a deal where we're working on a peace deal while they're fighting.
In other news this hour, Hurricane Erin is now a Category 3 storm east of the Bahamas, and it's moving closer to to the east. Forecasters say it will not make a direct hit. Instead, they are predicting dangerous rip currents and flooded roads with waves up to 15 feet in the Outer Banks of North Carolina. Evacuations are already underway in that area. Tropical storm watchers are now in effect for coastal North Carolina and parts of Virginia.
All right, good morning to you. Well, there you go. A lot going on there.
Yeah.
Let's check out the weather from a guy that, you know, potatoes are kind of like the shrimp on Forrest Gump.
You can do them so many different ways.
You can boil them, you can fry them. Okay.
Yes.
So he's the son of a potato farmer. Today is Spud Day. So let's check out Spud's review.
A look at our weather from Grange Co-op. With building high pressure, we'll see temperatures starting to move back up. So today in northern Oregon and southern Washington, mostly sunny with highs in the low 80s for Vancouver and Portland and mid 80s in Wilsonville and McMinnville. Moving down the Willamette Valley, mostly sunny with a high near 83 in Salem, patchy fog, then sunny and near 83 in Albany. Sunny skies with highs also near 83 for Corvallis and Eugene. Sunny skies across the central Oregon high desert with daytime high temperatures near 88 in Prineville and mid-80s for Bend and Sun River. Sunny and hot again today in Boise, Idaho with a high near 98. Along the Oregon coast, sunny with a high in the mid-70s in Coos Bay, sunny in upper 60s in Port Orford, patchy fog, then mostly sunny in mid-50s in Brookings, and partly sunny near 63 in Crescent City. In southern Oregon, sunny skies for the Rogue Valley and Klamath Basin with daytime high temperatures in the low 90s for Grants Pass and Medford and mid-80s for Ashland and Klamath Falls with lows in the low to mid-50s. Into northern California, sunny with a high in the upper 80s for Wairika, sunny and low to mid-90s for Redding and Chico, and near 90 in Sacramento with a light southwest wind this afternoon. In the Bay Area, patchy fog, then sunny and low 80s in Santa Rosa, becoming sunny with a high in the upper 70s in Napa, sunny in San Francisco with a high in the upper 60s, and today in San Jose, sunny and low 80s. A snapshot of your Tuesday weather from Grange Co-op.
Beautiful shot. And southern Oregon there today, I'm going to guess that's about 280, 290, somewhere in there.
Okay, I'm going to take your word for it because you're the only one that has pilot's license in their pocket.
Mm-hmm. Guessing.
You know what
guessing
these things are.
I'm strictly guessing by the shadows.
Man, I'm still looking for the numbers on the runways, okay? That's all I got.
It actually means something.
I know. I'm learning every day, man, every day. Okay. Well, the USS Constitution is nicknamed Old Ironsides, and it was on this day in history that it earned its nickname.
On August 19, 1812, during the War of 1812, the U.S. Navy frigate Constitution defeats the British frigate Guerriere in a furious engagement off the coast of Nova Scotia. Witnesses claimed that the British cannon fire merely bounced off the Constitution's sides as if the ship were made of iron rather than wood. By the war's end, Old Ironsides destroyed or captured 7 more British ships. The success of the USS Constitution against the supposedly invincible Royal Navy, the largest in the world, provided a tremendous boost in morale for the young American Republic. Old Ironsides is currently docked in the Charleston Navy Yard in Boston, Massachusetts. It's the oldest commissioned warship still afloat and hosts about 500,000 visitors each year. The ship remains an active unit, participating in various events and tours.
Well, if you ever get a chance to see it, and I've only seen it from the distance,
okay,
it's gorgeous.
I've been to Boston more than once, and I've never seen it.
It's just gorgeous.
On my bucket list,
Yeah.
I'll do it.
All right. Good morning to you. Well, RFK Jr., he's, doing a lot of things. He visited the Department of Defense. So he goes from Health and Human Services.
Wait a minute.
And he goes over to the Defense Department.
What are they serving? Fruit Loops over in the Defense Department?
It
Is he looking
could
for
be,
food
and he
dye?
wants to go into the coffee room there and take away the
Clean it
donut.
up.
But he challenged Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth to a pull-up contest.
Really?
Did you see this?
No.
Okay, take a look.
All right, here we are in the bowels of the Pentagon for the Pete and Bobby Challenge. I think this was your idea, so I blame you. But it's all about Make America Healthy Again. We're going to be fit, not fat. We want recruits that are ready to go and challenged. What are we doing today, Bobby?
Oh, Pete and I are going to do our part encourage American youth to do this challenge. And the challenge is to do 100 push-ups and 50 pull-ups in any order you want in under 10 minutes.
So 5 minutes is the top standard that we want to meet.
Not going to be able to do.
From the Secretary of Defense shark attack. You can do better, Ranger Tom! Let's go! Make your country proud! Lieutenant Commander Gonzalez, you did the challenge in what time? 3:56. 3 minutes and 24 seconds. Gunnery Sergeant Prince, Gunnery Sergeant High. 243. 243.
We want to send out a challenge to Sean Duffy.
I'm going to throw it on the military side a little bit too. Let's challenge the chairman of the Joint Chiefs, Raising Cane, and then my friend on TV, Will Kane. How about the Pete and Bobby challenge? 100 push-ups, 50 pull-ups, but we hope Americans will take this challenge and you'll pass it along so that we're ready to be fit the way we need to be healthy, and to have a healthy fighting force. Go get it.
Let's make America healthy.
Amen. One more!
That's amazing.
Well, this is so good. I tell you what, recruitment is going to skyrocket.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's going to skyrocket with this kind of stuff going on.
I'll tell you what, RFK Jr., man, that guy's ripped. He's 71 years old.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
All right, keep eating potatoes, Jerry. You'll get there. In fact, just pump some potatoes, okay?
I'm going to pump you up.
We're going to pump some potatoes. We'll be right back.
At Sweet Tea Express, we've got you covered. Order at the counter and our friendly service staff will do the rest. Burgers, salads, sandwiches, barbecue platters, sides, and more. Smoked, grilled, and served to perfection. Sweet Tea Express, breakfast, burgers, and barbecue.
Chris Silva understands your home and your commercial buildings are two of the largest investments most people make in a lifetime. One is for your family, the other is to support your family financially. That is why Chris Silva Painting goes the extra mile to protect both homes and commercial buildings with proper painting preparation and high-quality primers and paints. Serving Southern Oregon since 2006, this family-owned and operated business has painted over 1,000 homes. Chris Silva Painting offers an industry-leading 5-year warranty that covers materials and labor on all painting projects, work for both residential and commercial buildings, both interior and exterior painting. Chris and his crew are courteous, they are efficient, organized, timely, and clean. Chris Silva Painting also offers military discounts. At Chris Silva Painting, our mission statement is to bring Christ's heart and principles to our customers and our job sites. We do that with honesty, integrity, and hard work. We don't cut corners, we paint them. CCB number 176097. Chris Silva Painting, 541-890-3960.
Weekday mornings on the Dove, it's one of the longest running shows in broadcast history. The 700 Club. Informative with the day's top events. Encouraging with uplifting stories of faith. The 700 Club. Weekdays on the Dove TV.
How can Christian parents train their kids to know and follow God's design for sexuality in a culture that increasingly rejects it?
Join us as we uncover the damaging misinformation being fed to your children on sexuality and gender identity, and learn effective strategies for grounding them in biblical truth with confidence and grace.
Join me for the John Ankerberg Show weekdays at 4 o'clock right here on the Dove TV. It'll be encouraging and informative.
11 minutes before the hour, I kind of wonder, are we teaching true, and I underscore the word true, history? World history and U.S. history. Okay. Because when you hear the answer to this question by Charlie Kirk talking to a student on campus about socialism, you kind of wonder, where did you go to school? Yeah. And here's the exchange.
Okay.
I'm not a liberal. I'm more social.
Okay.
Socialist
Yeah.
and liberal are different words, and I think conservatives confuse that a lot. They're completely different things. Okay.
No, we don't. So I'm just curious, as someone who would say you're a socialist, what would be a country you think works well that's a socialist country?
There are no socialist countries right now.
There are no has there ever been a socialist country?
Truly socialist? No.
Okay. So your worldview is on something that's never existed and currently doesn't exist?
Is it a bad thing to be like pro change?
Okay, so just so we're clear, yeah, the type of change you're advocating is horrifying. But so it's never existed, doesn't, and so I would say Venezuela, Cuba, North Korea, formerly Vietnam, the Soviet Union, those are not and were not socialist countries?
The disastrous effects in those countries were directly contributed by U.S. intervention. There were multiple coups done by the CIA in those countries.
So let's take. Hold on, guys. Hold on. Let's take. I'm just curious. And so, how on earth did Fidel Castro taking over Cuba have anything to do with U.S. intervention?
There was plenty of sanctions. Economically, Cuba was completely cut off. There was no. They tried to assassinate him plenty of times. There were so many things.
The fact that they're communist.
Yeah.
We had what to do with that?
We didn't have anything to do with that. But after a communist regime took over, they had a.
Yeah. So let me ask you another. So first of all, Zimbabwe was not communist.
Burkina Faso, Thomas Sankara.
Say that again.
Thomas Sankara, Burkina Faso. Before he was assassinated, he was actually.
How about Mugabe? He wasn't a communist. How about Joseph Stalin? He wasn't a communist.
He called himself.
How about Mao Zedong? He wasn't a communist.
Yeah.
Pol Pot.
Plenty of terrible people have called themselves plenty of different names. North Korea.
Oh, so you get to be the judge. Got it. Right. So I just want to make sure we complete the point. You believe in something that doesn't exist, has never existed, and even though the people that call themselves the things that you believe, you say they weren't really that, which is the most important point. Socialism is always judged against an impossible utopia, and they judge markets against a reality. And here's the truth of the matter. That markets, which you enjoy comfortably in Western society, is the most proven affluent creating machine in human history. And I would just challenge you to do one thing. Please stop believing in a utopian nightmare and start looking at things around you that are good, that are true, that are beautiful, that work, and are consistent with the natural law. You'll be a much happier person if you do that.
Mm-hmm. He's terrific.
Absolutely.
He's terrific. He is God's man to be on the campus these days. There's no question about it.
Right. And he's not only talking about our former government, but he is a strong believer and a great apologist.
Remember this. Remember the demonstrations in Tiananmen Square and the young man standing in front of the tank?
Yep.
Do you know what he was holding in his hand?
Nope.
When he stood in front of that tank and he held up his hand, he had one hand, but he had the hand out and said stop. But before he did that, he had something in his hand. You know what it was? It was two things.
What?
One was a statue of the Statue of Liberty, and the other one was the book of the Constitution of the United States. It wasn't Mao's little red book.
Oh, wow.
It was a copy of our Constitution and a miniature statue of the Statue of Liberty. Okay? And so the other thing I can say, you kind of wonder, where in the world are these young people getting this stuff?
From their professors.
Well, there you go. Yeah. Have a nice day.
That's the one. Yeah.
All right. Well, God bless Charlie Kirk.
Yeah. Hey, have you ever lost your wallet?
Oh, God.
Huh?
Yes.
Did you get it back?
No.
No. Oh, really?
I was in London. And I took my wallet out to pay the taxi.
Uh-huh.
And I left it on the seat.
Oh, and you didn't get it back. How did you get home?
It was a nightmare. So I make calls. Thank God for Sue. I had to call home, cancel all my credit cards. And fortunately, Peggy had her credit cards.
Okay.
It was horrible. And you talk about an empty feeling. It's kind of like losing your phone.
Did you have your real ID in there?
Well, it did. Fortunately, I had my passport somewhere else.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, it's a horrible feeling.
Wow. Well, here's a story about a lost wallet that traveled thousands and thousands of miles before finding its way back home.
In Minnesota, a mechanic stumbled on a surprise hidden in a car's engine bay, a wallet that had been missing for over a decade. Chad Volk was working on a 2015 Ford Edge when a part refused to snap into place. After a closer look, he pulled out a brown trifold wallet wedged deep inside. Inside the wallet was a Michigan driver's license, $15, a lottery ticket, $275 in Cabela's gift cards, and a Ford employee ID. It belonged to Richard Big Red Guilford, who had lost it back in 2014 while working at a Ford plant in Michigan. He had guessed it fell into a car on the assembly line, but couldn't find it, and the wallet vanished for 11 long years, traveling 151,000 miles as the vehicle changed owners. When Volk tracked him down on Facebook, Guilford couldn't believe it. Now retired, he says it's less about the money and more about the kindness of a stranger returning it. Guilford said, "It restores your faith in humanity." And the best part? Cabela's even honored those decade-old gift cards.
Really?
Yeah.
That's terrific.
Isn't that great? Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he said that it was the first time he'd ever worn sweatpants to work, so he had his wallet in his T-shirt pocket, and he theorized that he leaned over and it fell in, and he said, "I realized it before the end of the day." So he said, me and buddies went out to try and find it. He said, but there were 2,000 new cars out in the lot out there, and we didn't even hardly know where to start.
Oh, my stars.
But he got it back.
Wow. All right, so our national debt is now at $37 trillion.
Oh, man.
What are we going to do about it?
Yeah.
And how dangerous is this? We'll talk about that coming up in a little bit. I take with you a great scripture today out of the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 16, verse 18. On this rock I will build my church, and the gates of Hades, hell, shall not prevail against it. And it was the revelation that Jesus Christ is the Son of God. All right, there's a picture of our backyard. Beautiful. Enjoy it, and be careful. It's hot and dry.
To hang upon the cross, you reach beyond every border, counting all is lost. You reach beyond.
The threat of wildfire poses a growing risk to Oregonians. You can prepare now by taking 3 important steps. Create a home inventory. Make copies of important financial records, and contact your insurance company to make sure you have the right amounts and types of home insurance coverage. Be wildfire ready by being insurance ready. Visit dfr.oregon.gov/prepare now to learn how.
Stewardship begins with the knowledge that nothing belongs to us, but everything belongs to the Lord. This helps us to run a business not in the fear of lack, but in the assurance of His care and provision. Such a perspective eliminates the drive to sell and replaces it with a heart that says serve. This begins with serving our clients and coworkers with integrity and genuine care. That's why McKelly's is automotive service with a heart for God and treating others as we ourselves would want to be treated. Our promise is to never sell our clients anything we don't believe they need. Another is to do all we can to meet other needs, such as shuttle service and loaner cars, or taking the time to really listen, even at times praying with our customers. Sometimes this means sacrifice, going above and beyond. But that's why I work for Kelly's Automotive Service, honoring God while serving people with honesty and integrity.
Cliff Connectley travels across America to give an answer to questions, doubts, and challenges concerning faith.
So one of the reasons I believe that God exists.
Join him for Give Me an Answer, weekdays on the Dove TV.
A ministry moment on the Dove.
For some people, the single greatest discouraging factor in their life is their perceived lack of forward movement in God. There are many Christians that feel stagnant, and they're generally self-condemned. They don't need the devil to condemn them, they're self-condemned. Let me assure you, my friend, the Lord is not through with you. He is working in you. Philippians 1:6 says, being confident of this very thing, that He who has begun a good work in you will complete it until the day of Jesus Christ. He's begun the work. He'll carry it on until the day of Christ's return. He's not going to give up on you. He's not going to cast you aside. Psalm 138 and verse 8 says, the Lord will perfect that which concerns me.
A ministry moment on the Dove.
Be encouraged.
Be informed.
Join us weekdays for Mornings on the Dove.
Right here on the Dove TV.
Focus today. I'm your host, Perry Atkinson. I wanted to take a few moments today to just kind of give you a little bit of a ministry update on what we're doing here at the Dove. As you know, we've been in the middle of this remodel, and it's been quite the project, to say the least. And I want to say thank you for your continued support and faithfulness in helping us with this, and your patience as we have been doing a lot of things behind the scenes. We moved into this building 8 or 9 years ago, actually a little longer than that, and we never did anything. We just moved in. This is literally an airplane hangar at the airport, and we converted it quickly into studios so that we could get on the air. So over these many years, we've been fighting all kinds of things, noise and heating and air conditioning and insulation and things like that. So our board decided that this would be time for us to really strategically look at how we're going to improve the buildings and make it much more efficient. And we're literally going to swap the operation. We're taking one end of the building and moving that operation to the other, and vice versa. So we're in the process, just to the left of me here, of building a new television studio and control room. And this all takes time and effort and money. And we has set aside the budget for most of that, and then what happens when you get into construction projects, things don't go as planned, and equipment costs go up. And then, believe it or not, we got trapped into a middle of several occasions where we were asked to pay very expensive tariffs on equipment. Well, I just couldn't do that, so we would cancel those orders, look for another way or place to buy that piece of equipment without paying tariffs. Well, every time we did that, and there was 4 major pieces of equipment that we had to do that with, it set us behind. I was really hoping we'd be up and running now with stage 1 of our remodel, but we're not, and we're probably at least another month away from being there. So I just want to say thank you for your patience and thank you for your support. Along the way, we've asked you to help us with some pieces of equipment that we weren't expecting that we'd have to buy. You've helped us with that, and I just want to say thank you. And just understand that the Dove is on the air primarily because of listeners and viewers like you that support what we do. Still, about 84% of the Dove's revenue is from viewers and listeners, and we are so grateful for that. And we don't take it for granted at all. So please consider supporting the Dove if you've never done so. And as you listen to me long enough, you know, do not take from your church. Your first responsibility is there. If you're involved in the ministry, certainly support that ministry. But if the Dove is helping you and you want to help us keep this on the air, do what we do in reaching people, literally thousands of people every hour are being blessed by the Dove, then we ask for your prayerful consideration, and you can support us anytime by calling us at 541-776-5368 or securely and safely online at thedove.us, and you can go there. And understand this, we send everybody, whether you support the Dove or not, that's not the issue. If you're not receiving our devotional called The Word for You Today, let us know. We're sending out thousands of these every quarter throughout the Pacific Northwest. I sit on the international board of this. Today, 11 million people read this in China. 11 million people read it in China. And we know through statistics and analytics that they shared it with at least 2 other people. That's the possibility of 30-something million people reading this today in China. We send millions of them around the world. We're all throughout Europe, all over the place, South Africa, New Zealand, Australia, all throughout Europe, people are receiving this. And if you don't have a copy of it, no obligation. You get a hold of us and we'll send it to you. It's a great tool. We just want to be in your ears with radio, in your eyes with TV, and in your hands with the Word of God. So thank you. Thank you so much for partnering with us. All right, looking forward to our guests. Always a great honor to have us when we have time to sit down with them, because this is a big issue. And I'm talking about none other, our good friend, Professor Michael Busler. He's the Public Policy Analysis and Professor of Finance at Stockton University in New Jersey. He does have a website, muckrack.com/Michael Busler. And there's a picture of that landing page. So, Professor, good to see you, friend. How are you, bud?
Always good to see you, Perry. Doing very well. Thank you.
You and I have had some great discussions, and I do honor them highly. It's just an honor to have you in all your wisdom and experience. And today I want to zero in on the national debt. And I guess there's two ways to look at this. Number one, the Professor Bustler way, and the other one is President Trump's way. Those would be the two differences. And I guess my question to you is this. Number one, how serious is this debt?
Okay, so first of all, just a little bit of background. How did we get to where we are? So right now, the public debt is $37 trillion. $37 trillion. Now, first point, how did we get here? In 1962, economists convinced the Kennedy administration you don't have to balance the budget. That the government is always can always sell bonds, they can always raise taxes. It's okay to run a deficit, especially if it's going to stimulate the economy. So politicians went along with that. And for 59 of the next 63 years, we ran a deficit in the budget. Now, the problem is you run a deficit. How do you finance it? You sell 10 or 20-year bonds. When the bonds come due, we're still running a deficit, so we can't pay them back. So what do? They sell new bonds to pay back the old bonds and roll over the debt. That's why the debt keeps growing annually. Okay, so how big of a problem is it? So most economists will tell you if the public debt is less than 1 year's GDP, it's not a problem. It can be handled. Public debt is now 37 trillion. GDP will be about 29 trillion. So we're way above GDP. Economists will say that's a problem. So next question is, what exactly is the problem? Well, there are two problems. One, with the federal government pulling $37 trillion out of capital markets, it creates a capital shortage. So when business goes to expand and to raise capital, there's not enough available, and what is there is relatively expensive. And as a result of that, that tends to slow economic growth. So the first problem, what we call the crowding out effect, large debt crowds business out of financial markets. The second problem is, although we roll over the debt and really have no mechanism in place to ever pay it back, we do have to pay the interest every year. So last year, the interest was $880 billion. It'll be more than that this year, and it'll grow because as we refinance those bonds taken out 10, 20 years ago at 2%, we now have to pay 4% because that's the current interest rate. And as a result, the interest expense will continue to grow. So it'll soon reach $1 trillion a year in interest expense. And that's $1 trillion that the government can't use for more productive reasons, or it's $1 trillion that could have been given back to the taxpayers to pay less taxes. So the problems are it crowds business out of the market, and the interest expense is getting to be a very heavy burden.
Okay. If you add the interest on the debt, roughly $880 billion.
880 billion.
Yeah, 880 billion. To mandates in the budget, doesn't leave much discretionary dollars left.
So what you're saying is, well, if the public debt is so large, the first thing we want to do is stop adding to it. Like we say, when you're stuck in a deep hole like that, the first thing to do is to stop digging. So what we have to do initially is to balance the budget. Now, why can't we do that? Why is that so difficult? The Trump administration said, we're not raising tax rates on any American. We're not raising tax rates on any American. We will increase revenue by growing the economy and therefore creating more taxable income and therefore more tax revenue. And we have some other revenue streams we're looking at, mostly from tariffs. But that won't be enough to balance the budget. The reason we have such large deficits today is that government spending is exploding. In 2019, the federal government spent $4.5 trillion. This year, 6 years later, they'll spend $7.3 trillion. So we've had an explosion in government spending. So how do we reduce the deficit? Tax revenue goes up virtually every year and will continue to be higher this year than it was last year. But we have to reduce government spending that's exploded. Why is that so hard? Every politician will tell you, well, I'm in favor of cutting government spending. It's way out of control. We have to cut it. But then when suggestions are made where to cut it, every politician says, well, wait a minute, cut government spending, but don't cut it in an area where it affects me or my constituents. And it's very difficult to get any spending cuts passed. As a quick example, remember Elon Musk and Doge found hundreds of billions of dollars of waste, fraud, and abuse. So they said, let's cut this out. Even with a Republican president and a Republican Congress, both houses of Congress, all they could cut was $9 billion out. So cutting government spending is extremely difficult because once you cut somewhere that affects a politician's constituents, they're not going to vote for it and he can't get a majority. A quick example, they looked at Medicaid. 70 million Americans, 70 million, more than 20% of the population collect Medicaid. So they looked at it and they said, there's about 10 million here who are not eligible to collect or who are collecting but are able-bodied and should be working and paying for their own. So what we'd like to do is cut Medicaid. Now, they couldn't cut it, but they cut some of the proposed increases. But even with that, even as obvious waste, fraud, and abuse, some politicians said, you can't cut this. All the poor people aren't going to have health insurance. This is horrible. We're not going to let you cut it. That's an example of every time they try to cut government spending, some politician says, look, this is going to negatively impact my constituents. I'm not going to let you do it. I'm not going to vote for it. And I'm going to tell all my fellow Congress people not to vote for it either. So cutting spending, which must be done as soon as possible, turns out politically to be very difficult. And we're going to have a tough time getting this deficit down before we even attempt to look at the public debt. We have to get this budget balanced, and because cutting spending is so hard, that's going to be very difficult.
Excellent explanation. A couple quick questions before I take a break. We're heading towards that wall again coming up in a couple of weeks in September.
Yep.
And everybody is thinking, well, here we go again with continuing resolutions. What's your take?
Unfortunately, that's the only thing that they can pass. What they should do is pass a budget for the fiscal year. The fiscal year 2026 starts October 1st. They should pass a budget in September for that fiscal year, which they won't be able to do for political reasons because you can't cut government spending. So all they'll do is say, look, we can't shut the government down, so let's pass a continuing resolution, kick the can down the road for another 6 months, and we'll worry about it then. They've been kicking the can down the road for 40 years. We're at the end of the road. So I think they should have a budget. Do I think they'll get one? No. I think they're going to pass another continuing resolution.
Is shutting the government down really a bad thing?
It's a lot of inconvenience, but all of the essential payments are made. Social Security, Medicare, the armed forces, they're all made. The thing is, you won't be able to visit national parks. You probably won't be able to get your passport renewed. So there'll be a lot of inconveniences. I don't know if you recall, in 2011, we shut the government down for 3 weeks. Afterwards, people said, well, that wasn't so bad. We didn't really miss a whole lot of things. So if you have to shut it down, they may have to. Maybe they'll do it. Politically, they always blame the Republican Party for this. But politically, it turns out to be not a good thing to do.
Okay. Let me take a quick break. Check out his website, muckrack.com/Michael Busler. And there's a picture of the landing page. A lot of good information there. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back.
At Rogue Hearing in Phoenix, we help you hear life again, clearly and comfortably. From expert hearing tests to custom aids and more, the team at Rogue Hearing delivers care you can trust. Rogue Hearing in Phoenix at the shops at Exit 24. Personalized hearing care right here at home.
Hey, this is Ed, co-owner of Visiting Angels. To continue to serve our seniors, we need more caregivers with a heart to serve. Our mission statement is honoring the art of giving, which means we honor you, the caregiver. We know it's our people that make Visiting Angels the best in-home care provider and a great place to work. Come be our next amazing caregiver. Give us a call or apply online. At Visiting Angels, we're committed to you because we honor the art of giving.
Applegate River Golf and RV Resort, a pristine 9-hole course alongside the Applegate River. Their clubhouse offers a golf simulator experience. The RV Resort is adjacent to the golf course with convenient pull-through parking. Applegate River Golf and RV Resort. Information at applegaterv.com.
Have you seen Mornings on the Dove?
Late for church. I'm pushing it a little bit. And the guy in front of me is dogging it. And you get maybe a little too close. So you're trying to push him a little bit. I got to get there. And you get to the church parking lot, and they turn in front of you. So you watch which way they go when they go in the other way. And Pam says, I told you not to do that. Yeah. Okay. And she was right.
How healthy is your health food?
If it's not organic, it has a compound that destroys gut health and causes cancer.
Harmful chemicals may be hiding in plain sight.
Why are they allowed in America and nowhere else in the world?
What's the takeaway for America? How does MAHA help change the way we've been conducting our dietary lives?
Tuesday on the 700 Club, right here on the Dove TV.
All right, welcome back. Always an honor to have with us Professor Michael Busler, Public Policy Analysis and Professor of Finance there at Stockton University. His website is muckrack.com/Michael Busler. We're talking about the $37 trillion national debt and its interest on it alone and balancing the budget. What do we do? And the bottom line is we have to cut spending. That is always a political, crazy thing to accomplish one way or the other. So the president's approach to this is let's just stimulate the economy so great that we can pay it down. Now, I realize a lot of these things that he's attracting to come to the United States are all great and they represent trillions of dollars, but we won't see it in action for several years down the road. But what do you think of that basic philosophy?
So since there's no real good solution to reducing government spending, you have to find one that is the best that you can without causing damage to the economy. President Trump says, I think that my policies of keeping tax rates low, reducing regulations, encouraging business to grow and expand should result in the economy expanding significantly. He'll say, back in 1982, President Reagan put forth some supply-side tax cuts similar to what Trump has done. And he's also made it very easy for business to expand, similar to what Trump has done. And we went from, in 1981, the economy was in recession. The tax cut was passed in 1982. In 1984, the economy grew at a 7.4% annual growth rate. I don't know if Trump's policies will hit that. They may. If he comes anywhere close to that, that will raise significant amounts of revenue. Couple that with the revenue he's getting from the tariffs and his idea to try to hold the line as best you can with government spending may result in a balanced budget maybe 3-4 years down the road. So in theory, it could work. Reagan stimulated the economy, tax revenue went up. But when tax revenue went up, members of Congress said, look, we have more money to spend. So they actually spent more money and the deficit never went away. So in theory, what President Trump's trying to do makes sense. We'll have to see if it works.
Okay, so if you get a balanced budget and you create a surplus, if you don't earmark that surplus to go to pay down the debt, the government finds a way to spend it.
usually. So the last time we had a surplus in the budget was 1997, 98, 99, and 2000. They were the only 4 years in the last 63 we didn't have a deficit. We had a surplus in the budget, and they did use the surplus to pay down the public debt. Somehow, they're going to have to guarantee, I'm not sure how they do it, but somehow the government will have to say, look, whatever money we bring in that is in excess of our spending this year, and we do have a surplus, it has to be used to pay down the public debt. I think at this point, if we can just stop the public debt from getting any bigger, that's a huge first step. As the economy grows, and if we can hold that public debt constant, even if we don't pay it off, but as the economy grows and generates more revenue, it will be easier to carry this debt. So ideally, we do want to get the budget balanced. We'd like to run a surplus, and we should use the surplus to pay down some of the public debt, and we hope that's what happens.
So it would appear that what Doge proved was there was a lot of fraud and misspending and just craziness with dollars. It would seem to me that we would want to continue that investigation, expose that, and stop it. I mean, that alone would improve cash flow, right?
Yeah. So they found that USAID, the international money that's used to help less than developed countries and people in poverty, they found so much waste in there that they had to close down the whole agency and then try to start up again with what is actually needed. So it becomes very, very difficult to even shut those down because all the backlash that you got from members of the opposing party said, look, you're cutting spending, it's going to hurt people. But as we said, we've got to get this spending down, and we've got to look for ways to do it. Doge, even though some of the players aren't there, Doge is still there, and they're still looking for waste, fraud, and abuse, and they're finding it. But to cut it out becomes difficult, even if it's ridiculous. They had $20 million to build Sesame Place in Iraq. They had money to do studies on ridiculous things. Those things should be eliminated. But when you start to do that, someone says, well, the relations that the U.S. has with other countries will be damaged if we don't give them money. The research that we do will be damaged if you don't fund all these research studies. So even though Doge will find waste, fraud, and abuse, actually implementing action that reduces it or eliminates it will be very difficult.
Okay, but at the end of the day, people who are the head of those agencies, can't they be held accountable for their budget?
Well, they can, but the thing is, Congress has allocated this money. And these the heads of the agencies say, look, we have this money. It's allocated for these purposes, research purposes. So we're going to spend it on these research things that we're doing. It has to start in Congress. Congress says we are not going to authorize spending in these areas, even though you think they're doing some good, and they probably are. We simply don't have the money. So we're going to have to start cutting back. Harry, the real elephant in the room here is the entitlement programs.
Right.
Between Social Security and Medicare, it's well over 50% of the budget. You add in the interest on the public debt, which has to be paid. Now we're up to almost 2/3 of the budget. Well, the interest we can't reduce unless we can get interest rates down and start to reduce the debt. What about the entitlement programs? They're taking up more than half of government spending. Can we do anything with that? Well, most people would say, look, you can't cut Social Security and Medicare. These people have been paying in their entire lives. They retire and they're depending on it. The system, though, those programs are on the verge of bankruptcy. Within the next decade, unless we do something, they'll probably be broke. So the question is, what do we do? There are no good solutions to this problem. So what we have to find is the solution that's the least bad. I think you don't want to cut anybody's benefits. I don't like raising taxes. That just tends to slow the economy down and hurt more than it helps. So if you can't raise taxes and you can't cut benefits, what are you going to do? The only thing to do, and this is not popular and it's not a good solution, but I think it's the least bad, is to raise the retirement age at least to 70 and probably up to 72. That'll have people working more, paying in, and fewer people collecting. And look, when Social Security was put in 1935, people retired at 65. The average life expectancy was 67. So it wasn't such bad. Today, you retire at 67. People are living to be in their 80s, 90s, some over 100. The system can't pay 35 years of retirement. It's only meant to pay a few. So the only thing to do, and admittedly, this is not a good solution, but the only thing to do is to raise the retirement age at least to 70 and probably up to 72. That'll save both programs.
Look, a little bit of a hypothetical, just a few seconds left here. Given what the president is attempting to do in addressing the problem, what would the professor add to that in order to really accomplish the goal?
You have to stick to those cuts in government spending. You suggest all these things, it gets to Congress, they debate it, they never get passed. Congress has got to grow a spine here and say, look, we just can't keep spending money that we don't have. We're placing a burden on our children and grandchildren. So what I would suggest to President Trump is do things that not only slow the rate of growth of government spending, actually reduce government spending. Whatever you have to do that, I think that's the most important thing that the president can do to try to get this deficit eliminated and the public debt reduced.
Professor, you're fascinating. Thank you, friend. It must frustrate you.
Hey, I've been on this debt thing for 20, 25 years, ever since really Reagan did his thing. The deficit never went away. And then every president just sort of kicked the can down the road. So it's been decades I've been frustrated by this.
Are we close to insolvency?
I don't know where exactly that point is. Again, we're above 1 year's GDP significantly, where economists say that could be a problem. At some point, the debt could be so heavy that investors will say, hey, this is a little risky, and we're not going to buy all that debt. Now, right now, it's the safest place to put your money. But if the debt burden gets to be too heavy, I don't know if investors will look at it like that. And then if we can't sell bonds, then we have a even worse problem.
Okay. Muckrack.com/Michael Busler is the website to go to stay connected. Thank you, Professor. We value your time greatly. Take care, friend.
Thanks for having me, Perry. Look forward to doing it again.
Okay.
Your property demands equipment with more reliability, durability, and versatility built in. Kubota equipment is ready to get the job done right.
Come fall in love with Northridge Senior Living, where contemporary sunlit interiors meet old world elegance. Walk through our lovely hallways and enjoy the fun staff-led activities. Forge lasting friendships with other residents and our exceptional caregivers. Dine in style. Gather near the fireplace under breathtaking chandeliers. Our reasonably priced apartments are spacious with private balconies. Northridge is Christian owned and operated, pet friendly, and only 2 blocks from Asante Rogue Regional Medical Center. On-site 24/7 in-home care is available. We also offer senior adult daycare where your loved one can spend the day with us and the evenings with you. Northridge Senior Living, your home.
Life is complicated enough. Why worry about what to do with your extra car? Skip the costs of maintaining it, storing it, insuring it, or renewing registration. Car repairs? Forget about it. Here's one easy solution to your car problem. Donate it to our station. It's fast, free, tax deductible, and if you donate, you're going to feel incredible knowing you're supporting quality programming. Interested? Just call this toll-free number or donate online. Thank you.
Welcome back, and it's quite frankly been too long since we had our good friend Dan Perkins with us. He's a political commentator, the host on What's on My Mind podcast, one of the most listened to ones out there. And he's quite the author. He writes historical romance novels entitled Sad Eyes, which is a series. You can check that out. And there's a picture of the cover of the book. A couple places to check in with Dan, danperkins.guru. And he also has an amazing outreach to veterans called songsandstoriesforsoldiers.us. And all of that there available on those websites. Brother Dan, good to see you, friend. How are you, bud?
It's good to see you, sir. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, good to see you. A lot going on here. Well, we went from meeting Putin in Alaska to meeting 8 European leaders yesterday in the White House. Pretty historic. What's your take?
I want to tell you a quick question about that.
Yeah.
My wife asked me this morning, she said, did those 8 ministers stay at the White House or where did they sleep? I said, my guess is they probably went to their embassies. So,
you don't think they all shared the Lincoln bedroom?
maybe they rotated through, but you never know.
You never know. Well, I don't know if we still have that picture. We had a picture up earlier, but there's a picture out there that was on the news late yesterday afternoon. It's pretty phenomenal. And it shows the president sitting behind the desk in the Oval Office with all 8 European leaders in a semicircle in front of him. Historic picture. So,
no question.
Anyway, what's your take? There it is. I don't know if you can see it at your end.
I can, yes.
It's pretty amazing. And you look at this and you go, wow. We've never seen anything like this. So,
and if you take a quick look at that picture and go from my left to right, and you see the big chart on the wall, look who's behind the chart.
Reagan.
You got it.
Yep. Yeah, it's pretty
looking down on everybody.
So anyway, what do you think? What do you think of the president's efforts so far and what he's trying to do here?
Historic, amazing, unbelievable. You pick the adjective. I don't care. There was a wonderful line that I heard yesterday. In practically any other administration, to bring all of these people together at one time would take years of planning. And he did it in days. Brought them all in. They had meetings. They got together. You could tell by the body language at the other places they were sitting. They were engaged. I mean, I can't think of the last president who was that engaged with the European Union, NATO, or whatever you want to call it now. But clearly, and if you could go back to the picture, if you still got it handy, I think it's important. And I would put a caption on this picture.
Yeah.
Schools in. You got the teacher at the desk and all the students in the chairs listening to the teacher.
Yeah, it's pretty remarkable. I don't want to dwell on this too long, but I guess what amazes me when these stories break at this magnitude. Probably like you, I go to a lot of sources just to see what the continuity is in the reporting. And what's so interesting to me, there is no continuity, and B is he's getting no credit for trying. None. He's still a dumb guy doing a stupid thing. That's just amazing to me.
He's settled 6 wars since he's been in office.
Yeah.
And nobody on the left is willing to acknowledge it. And my guess, if he pulls off the victory in Ukraine, the Democrats will and somebody decides to actually nominate him for the Nobel Prize, if he gets it, it's going to be everybody else is responsible. Trump had nothing to do with it.
Well, apparently Hillary's for it if he settles this one.
Yeah, well, but if they give any land to the Russians, she's not going to nominate him. That was part of her terms and conditions.
Yeah.
But you're right. It's amazing that we have the president of the United States imposing himself in world crisis time and time again, settles it, brings about peace, stops the killing, and he gets no credit. And I have grave concern that it'll be the same thing with this one.
Okay, so let's unpack this a little bit. Why do you think the president had the other 7 European leaders come to be with him in meeting President Zelensky?
Overpower Zelensky.
Okay.
Remember the last time they met in the White House?
Mm-hmm.
How aggressive Zelensky was with the president, and how Trump and especially J.D. Vance went after him about his disrespect. He's got a situation where he brought in the cavalry, and that cavalry is the European nations who've decided that they're going to not only give him more money, but they're going to support him, provide some soldiers for peacekeeping. He needed somebody to overwhelm Zelensky to try and get him to take the deal, whatever the deal is. We don't know for sure, but whatever the deal is, go and meet with Putin and strike a deal and get this thing over with. Because the economic opportunity for Russia, the United States, and Europe in the rebuilding of Ukraine is going to be phenomenal, just as much as it's going to be in Gaza. And we want to bring these economies back, and we want to create jobs and bulldoze the rubble out and build all new. It's going to be a tremendous opportunity for the European nations to rebuild Ukraine and the United States to assist, plus the minerals coming out, and we can do the same thing in Gaza. So it's being driven, and I don't mean to put this in a negative sense. I'm putting it in hopefully a positive sense. We hear so many times the discussion about all these kinds of deals. It's always about the Benjamins. Well, this one is really about first stopping the killing, and then number 2, getting the Benjamins to flow into the country to rebuild it.
What kind of pressure does it put on, or did it put on, Putin to consider all of these things when the other 7 European leaders came with Zelensky?
I think I did a commentary, and I had a discussion with you the last time I was on, about the importance of 2 negotiations on tariffs. The fact that the European Union agreed to buy $750 billion, that's B with a B, billion, not million, $1 billion worth of American energy, was $750 billion over 3 years. That's not going to flow to the Russian economy. Number 2, the tax that he put on India, because they've been buying 10 times the oil that they would normally buy from Russia, and apparently reselling it. They put a tariff on of 35 and possibly could raise to 50. Russia is looking at the possibility that they're going to lose $1 trillion in revenue coming into their treasury by being forced out of the oil market. That's what I thought ultimately brought him to the table.
Given that scenario, why hasn't the president been equal with this pressure and putting the same kind of restrictions on China buying oil from Russia?
Well, he knows that the only energy that China has in abundance is coal, although they're building a coal-fired plant every week, bringing it online, and they're starting to have to import coal from European nations. I think you don't want to poke the bear too many times or too hard when you got to sit down at the table and share a meal with him. I think what's going on here is he's with these tariffs, China has been incredibly quiet. They're really not saying anything. With the tariffs that he's negotiated, and I say this all the time, and I apologize for being redundant, we are the world's biggest trading partner, bar none. Everybody in the world wants to do business with us. And now with these trade deals coming in where their tariff, which was 100 or 200%, is now down to 15, the opportunity for world trade to expand dramatically creates a problem for China because everybody wants to come into the U.S. market, and these other countries are going to start building in the United States in order to capture market share from the Chinese. And the Chinese economy is slowing dramatically because the ships aren't flowing to the United States because China is having a difficult time to compete with the rest of the nations in the world who are aggressively wanting to be trading partners with the U.S.
So you think that part of this move is to wean Russia away from China and more to Western dollars?
Yes. I mean, if you think about it in this respect, in the history of these two nations, you can count on one hand out of centuries that these people actually talk to each other. They were mortal enemies and have been for centuries. And it's just in the last 5 years, because Russia had something that China wanted and China had something that Russia wanted, that they were able to strike a deal. But is it a love fest? Absolutely not. It's a matter of practicality. And with the tariffs really impacting China and will ultimately impact Russia, the two parties are going to be at each other's throats very soon.
Okay, back to the meetings here. Part of what came out of this is it looks like Ukraine will not become part of NATO. However, the surrounding nations are willing to support them in a protection which would probably come under Article 5, backed by the United States. It's kind of like having the protection of NATO without belonging to NATO.
Right.
But this also gives an indication that Ukraine will be accepted in the EU, or not?
Well, I think that, first of all, the separation of the EU versus NATO. NATO is a military organization designed to provide security for the member nations. The European Union is a conglomeration of 47 nations in Europe to equalize trade and grow the whole European Union economy. Bringing them in, it will add eventually, as I said, the economic opportunity for the reconstruction of Ukraine is going to be phenomenal, perhaps trillions of dollars. And the reason why Putin brought on the back of the plane all the business people to talk when they were in Alaska, they're already starting to try and figure out what can Russia get out of the deal in terms of revenue from reconstruction and rebuilding of that country. So it really is a situation where those countries around it are providing security. That's not UN, but as Russia is involved, and this is the key. If Russia gets involved in the redevelopment of Ukraine from an economic standpoint, they're going to be hard pressed to want to get in and blow it up.
All right, let me take a quick break. A couple of places to check out Dan's activity. DanPerkins.guru is his main website. Check out his an amazing outreach to veterans, songs and stories for soldiers.us. Check that out. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Yes, sir.
Hey, this is Ed, co-owner of Visiting Angels. To continue to serve our seniors, we need more caregivers with a heart to serve. Our mission statement is honoring the art of giving, which means we honor you, the caregiver. We know it's our people that make Visiting Angels the best in-home care provider and a great place to work. Come be our next amazing caregiver. Give us a call or apply online. At Visiting Angels, we're committed to you because we honor the art of giving.
Looking for an all-inclusive experience? Take an unforgettable ride along the wild and scenic Rogue River with Hellgate's high-speed spins, stunning Rogue River scenery, and incredible wildlife. Then, kick back and relax with our all-you-can-eat brunch or dinner at the Hellgate River Lodge. Whether it's family fun, a weekend with friends, or a romantic trip for two, Hellgate makes it easy to turn a wild ride into a local's vacation. Book your adventure now at hellgate.com. Hellgate Jet Boat Excursions, where adventure runs wild.
Clean water is essential to your good health. Ultra Pure Purified Water has been delivering purified, healthy drinking water to the Rogue Valley since 1995. Locally owned and family run, Ultra Pure Purified Water uses a multi-stage process ensuring your delivery of water is 99.8% pure, so your family stays hydrated and healthy. Online at ultrapurewaterinc.com or call 541-734-0828. 541-734-0828.
Have you seen Mornings on the Dove?
Iran did attack Israel yesterday, and that has escalated. This is the cost of freedom and liberation. It doesn't minimize the pain and the suffering here and the death.
G7 is interested in monitoring their program. Trump says, we're way past that.
Yeah.
We're eliminating it.
Dads have power in their words.
Wake up to information. Mornings on the Dove, weekdays.
All right, welcome back. Always a delight to have Dan Perkins with us. Check out his podcast, What's on My Mind podcast, one of the great ones out there. And also check out his romantic novel series called Sad Eyes, available online by Dan Perkins. I think you'll find those to be very entertaining. And he does have a couple of websites. danperkins.guru is his main site. SongsandStoriesForSoldiers.us is a site where he works with veterans and does a good job. All right, so Dan, before I leave all this, there are a couple of little things here. It appears that, of course, President Zelensky goes to the meeting and says, we're not giving up any land. In fact, we want our land back. And I understand that's nothing more than a power positioning for negotiation. The fact of the matter is, Russia has taken over some territory, Crimea being one of the main ones. But when you look at the map, they actually have taken over. They have now in their control less than what they started with. And there is still a little area left. But it appears that the deal is those areas that they do have control there in eastern Ukraine, that they get to keep in exchange for peacekeeping people and troops or military or whatever to help protect any kind of invasion in the future. Or am I misreading it?
No, you're not misreading it at all. Donald Trump said yesterday, and he said it more than once in the last few weeks, one of the reasons why he wants to stop this war is that the carnage in this war has been over 1 million casualties. We have to go back to the Second World War to find casualties of those numbers. Mm-hmm. All the other stuff that's happened since then pales compared to what's happened in 3 years in Ukraine. And so he wants to stop that carnage. He wants to stop the massacre of people, and he wants to treat both parties fairly. Understand that in a negotiation, each party, in order to have a successful negotiation, wants something, but also has to be willing to give up something. So each party has to find their compromise point. And I think that Zelensky will give up land if he's got physically has not only troops stationed in the country as peacekeepers, but at the same time, he has the assurances of the United States government and other countries that they will fall in behind him. So I'm not terribly concerned about the swapping of land in exchange for troops.
Okay. So President Trump still has what they call sticks and carrots. And the sticks being sanctions and tariffs in and around Russia or on Russia itself in order to make this deal happen. The carrot is they do get what real estate they now have conquered. The tricky part is Putin has outlived 4 administrations. So he can
outlive Trump.
So he can outlive Trump here, so to speak,
right,
and reassume this after 28 if he wanted to, unless some kind of peace deal it literally is negotiated.
That's true, but part of that analysis is that the left is making, for example, an assumption that whoever follows Trump will not be Trump. He will not be as successful in his business practices. He won't carry the same kind of voting information, votes that he got from blacks and minorities, and that the next Republican president is going to be much weaker than Donald Trump. I don't particularly buy that, but I understand the left is hoping that, so that Putin takes the risk, and if he miscalculates, and let's say J.D. Vance is the new president, and he continues the same aggressive posture as Donald Trump, Putin's going to be more concerned about dealing in his own protection. Keep in mind that when they get that, if they get that land that's been decimated, they're going to be responsible for rebuilding it. And it's going to cost their money to do it.
I think this where China comes back into the picture. And the reason I say that is Russia's economy and Japan, or not Japan, China, Russia's economy and China's economies are both very, very shaky. It doesn't appear that Russia has the economic power to rebuild anything, and it's been demonstrated about how unsophisticated and weak their military is, only to be propped up by the Chinese.
Right. And the North Koreans, who walked away after they lost a good percentage of their troops.
Yeah, and in the meantime, Zelensky, with all his limitations, he sends over a bunch of drones, takes out a bunch of airplanes and ships. I mean, it's kind of embarrassing, don't you think?
Yes, no question, no question. You're right about both economies. And what's really important about what you're saying there is that, I go back to what I said earlier in the program, if the European Union agrees to buy $750 billion of U.S. energy, and India has to forego purchasing in order to get the tariffs down, it's possible that Russia could lose $1 trillion in 3 years or more to their coffers because of the crude oil and natural gas that's being bought from the United States.
Yeah.
That's going to have a tremendous negative impact on the Russian economy.
And Russia cannot afford not to sell it to Europe. So there's another trap for them.
Oh yeah, I mean, I've been in Europe many times, and I'm amazed as you go across from France to Italy to Germany to Switzerland, all the Russian pipelines that run across the country where they're shipping oil and natural gas. And how many times have we heard that the concern was in Europe that Russia would turn off a switch during the winter and they'd have no oil or natural gas to heat their homes or run their factories? We take that away. We take that leverage away and give it back to the people of Europe, and we become the principal supplier of energy. It's a huge deal. And what's important about not only that deal, but what he's doing with tariffs. And I'm going to go out on a limb here, and you're going to have to write this down in permanent ink, because we're going to have to take 3.5 years to find out whether I'm right or not. In 1913, up until 1913, our government was financed based on tariffs. 1913, we put in the first income tax. I believe with the modifications that are going on in trade and countries doing business with us that never did business with us, and opportunities for us to do business with them, we could have, by the time Donald Trump leaves office, the elimination of the IRS and the tax law, and simply live on tariffs.
You heard it first here.
Yes, sir.
Okay. One other quick thing. I'm going to change directions real quick. His crackdown, President Trump's crackdown on crime in Washington, D.C. What's your take?
Oh, there's a wonderful article that was was on Fox News. I thought it was Wall Street Journal, but I could be wrong. But anyway, you can get it on Fox News. What was going on, Perry, is that when police were called to an incident, they make a quick assessment and said this is an outright murder. So they are instructed to call the lieutenant in charge of the precinct, who then in turn, if he comes out there, calls the captain who comes out. And if it was a vicious murder, they degrade it. Involuntary manslaughter. Why? Because they can cook the books on the numbers of reporting of violent crime in there. We have a situation in Washington, D.C., where it's the only place in the country that has this, Larry, or Perry. If you are 25 or under, you are treated as a minor for anything that you do as a minor offense. And so if you go out and kill somebody and you're 23 years of age, you are prosecuted as a minor and you get community service or maybe a little bit of detention or house arrest for a little bit, and then you're done. So we have a huge problem in Washington, D.C. of 12-year-olds to 17-year-olds who are hijacking cars.
Yeah.
To the tune that we had 2,000 so far this year, it's the fastest growing crime in Washington, D.C. The idea that this is a safe city is bullcrap.
Well,
and I know a lot of people who live there who no longer go downtown anymore. They don't go out at night anywhere in the district. It's not safe. Donald Trump is going to do that. And this latest story, whether you saw it yesterday, Chicago.
Yeah. Not to mention cashless bail, and that's a whole other subject. Hey, good to see you. DanPerkins.guru is the website. Songs and Stories for Soldiers .us is a place that he has a great program to help veterans. And check out his historic romance novels known as Sad Eyes. You can get that online anywhere books are sold by Dan Perkins. Thank you, buddy. Good to see you.
Yes, sir. It's always a pleasure. Thanks for having me on.
If you get caught, put me on your speed dial. I'll come get you.
At Sweet Tea Express, we've got you covered. Order at the counter and our friendly service staff will do the rest. Burgers, salads, sandwiches, barbecue platters, sides, and more. Smoked, grilled, and served to perfection. Sweet Tea Express, breakfast, burgers, and barbecue.
Finding that next great series to binge watch is fun, but your next show